Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Virtual Motorsport Online TCUK Championship and Round 8, races 22, 23, and 24. After our thrills and spills of our visit over the border to Knockhill, TCUK returns to the wonderful Donington Park for the next three races. The last time we were here in Round 1, we saw our now championship protagonists Dan Hurlock and Tom O'Leary duking it out, securing race wins around the national layout here. Tonight, we're here at the Grand Prix layout. 2 additional hairpins, 2 additional passing opportunities. We'll have to see if either of our championship protagonists can steal a march on one another and seize the grand prize, which is this year's TCUK Drivers' Championship. My name is Matthew Churgwin. Joining me this evening is Mr. Philip Morby. Say good evening.
Good evening. We're back. Yeah, 3 more exciting races coming up, so looking forward to it.
We are, and it is Donington Park. It has 2 fantastic layouts. We'll get to use them both this year. And the GP circuit, yes, it reuses a lot of the national circuit, but those 2 additional hairpins, that change of direction at the S's, it really does change the character of this place.
It does. Like those heavy braking zones at the hairpin and Goddards, turns 11 and 12, make it a bit more exciting. It gives you a bit more chance. Also, a couple of little straights as well, a little bit of power boost, turbo boost to make use of. So, save it for the start-finish line and Starkey Straight. There's some overtaking opportunities aplenty in this one.
Absolutely, and undulation. We've got some excellent undulation in the circuit anyway, but those 2 hairpins, it's deceiving on the camera, but trust me, when you're in the car, there is a definite pitch change as you go on the brakes, trying to get the car stopped for 2 critical corners to help build and complete a lap. So we're at round 8. We only have 2 more rounds, sadly, to go in this year's championship. 2 weeks' time, we will be at Silverstone, the home of British motorsport and the national layout, and then to another Grand Prix circuit variation, Brands Hatch, to see out our season on the 5th of November. Remember that date, ladies and gentlemen. So we are a long way through our championship now. I think it's fair to say that we do have some individuals who are definitely putting their hands potentially on that championship prize. But as we saw, Phil, anything can happen in one round. And as we saw, the championship became 19 points closer in the last 3 races. Mr. Hurlock definitely gaining some ground on Tom O'Leary.
He did. He got 1 of each at Knockhill. He got a 2nd, a 1st, and a 3rd. Whereas O'Leary, after various time penalties were applied, didn't actually get any podiums at all. It was interestingly the first evening that he didn't get a win. And those last 5 wins, it's worth pointing out, have been in race 2. Given the championship turbo limitations you have during quali, it means he struggles a little bit in quali and race 1, but then uses all the boost he gets in race 2 to go on to win. But he didn't do that at Knockhill race 2. 19 points gap reduced. So now it's 26 point lead that O'Leary has, but with well over 180 points still on the table, it's everything to play for.
And that margin, ladies and gents, for the driver's title, a mere 26 points. So still plenty on offer, plenty of opportunity for those to make themselves known. And we shouldn't discount some of the other drivers as well. The margin is there to make up, but others could still make their statement and attempt on the championship. But we are racing through the evening. Here is our grid for race 1. Dan Hurlock starting as he means to go on, securing pole position from his teammate Ryan Elliott in the RSRs. More on their livery shortly. Cedar Wire was in 3rd place. Just moving on, we've got Luke Mitchell in 5th with Louis Neal in 6th. Ben Willis for Drake in 7th, followed by teammate Jordan Richardson. P9 will have Callum Cripps for Brabham, followed by Callum Wilson in the Richardson Co Racing, rounding out our 5th row.
We've got Scott Mitchell, Martin for Kins Racing at 11th, with Ross McGregor, first evening, I think, this season, in 12th. Mitch Marie, Calamity Motorsport in 13th, with Jack Nichols in 14th. Alan Smith not taking his usual 16th position, starting 15th, with O'Leary down in 16th place. Matt Richards in 17th, with Martha Allington, she's starting 18th. Emil Salberg, starting 19th, Jack London 20th, and then at the back of the grid we have the Unlimited Motorsport esports of Jordan Osborne and newcomer Simon Trebek, and then Carl Benton in 23rd.
23 runners and riders, and we're already coming up onto that first race of the evening. Try and share with our viewers, Phil. You're on the grid, you're getting ready for the first race. 3 races in the evening, plenty of opportunity to have a good run, but if you have a tricky first race, it can be a real dampener and downer on the rest of the evening, so it's important to get it right.
It is the worst feeling to spin out in race 1, get taken out in race 1, because it just sets you up for just a terrible evening, really. I was always someone that would kind of qualify in the midfield, let's say 16th, 17th, where O'Leary is. In race 1, you're just looking to kind of stay alive, make a few opportunities, get yourself to 12th maybe for race 2, and then race 2, obviously you got that random reverse grid from 7 to 12, so you're hoping to kind of push yourself a couple more places up, give you a good chance of that reverse pole for race 3, and if not, try and push yourself for a top 10 in race 3. That was usually my kind of ethos, but you ruin it in race 1, you're starting 23rd in race 2, and you need a miracle to get that reverse pole in race 3.
Yeah, it certainly is hard work, and well, we've mentioned the boost. We've got some straights, so we've got our HEM system, which is a variable amount of turbo boost that our drivers will get. That is weighted by championship position in the first race, so our 2 championship leaders will have less than everyone else. And on the straights, the uphills, and of course the slow speed acceleration zones, that is, I think, going to play a definite factor tonight.
And also just the teammates working as rear gunners. Obviously, we've seen Dan Herlock and Ryan Elliott on the front row. So Ryan Elliott's going to be a brilliant rear gunner for Herlock here to get maximum points in this race 1. O'Leary struggles in qualifying, down in 16th, and his teammate is actually down at the back of the grid. So he's not going to have any rear gunner support. So Herlock, I mean, like I said, there's a 26-point gap. He could really eat into a lot of that gap in this first race alone, as long as he plays his cards right.
Indeed, and we ran through the grid. We mentioned a few names perhaps we haven't had chance to call out before, so perhaps we'll just flash up the spotters guide and we can talk through who's new and who's subbed in.
Yeah, we can. Obviously, we want to point out Dan Herlock and RSR have got a special breast cancer awareness month livery that they always run in October, breast cancer awareness, which is brilliant to see. Nice little lovely pink livery. We've got Simon Trebek in that Unlimited Motorsports Cupra. And we've also got Ross McGregor, who is racing, I can't see what number he is, number 89, on the left there, second from bottom, running Calamity Motorsport. So he's got 4 wins, 20 podiums. So he's replacing Dan Kell this evening. And he's a previous race winner, so he knows what he's doing.
He does, and he's mighty rapid as well. So not a huge amount of practice for Ross, I believe, just having a look at the Discord before the race, but he's got racecraft under his belt, so I'm sure he'll be making some places and giving us some excellent entertainment across the 3 races this evening. I
mean, he was throwing all the excuses in on the Discord already. I'm ill, I'm old, I'm tired, I've forgotten how to drive, I haven't got only did a few laps practice on Monday. He got all the bingo cards there. So
I was going to say, I can relate to that a lot.
Yeah, definitely the old and not knowing how to drive front-wheel drive. Yes, so my final season definitely can relate to that. But no, he's there, he's on the grid, and we were just saying before we came on air, it feels that this season the midfield pack has got so close together, like the top 20. I mean, it's a 90, I think we said 91, 93 second lap. The top 20 are within a second of each other. It's so close. You find 1 or 2 tenths in that midfield, you're suddenly jumping up 5 places, which is just insane.
And the front is incredibly close as well. I think at various points in the qualifying, we had the top 3 split by 0.2 of a second. So yes, as you say, Phil, huge amount of competition. Midfield definitely catching up to the front. And it's going to be close racing this evening. And Donington, it's a circuit that I enjoy very much to drive. Good challenge, good undulation, gives good racing as well. So hopefully we will see that from our drivers this evening.
Yeah, I think like Donington National, I think it gives fantastic racing. You've got a lot of different corners, you've got a lot of straights, you've got some very heavy braking zones. Compared to, if you think about Knockhill, the overtaking zone basically was that hairpin. We've got 2 of them for a start, so we've already doubled the amount of hairpins. Plus, there's a few other corners here into turn 1. You can kind of going down the hill. You can kind of play a bit of chicken with your rival, and lots of opportunities here. So hopefully, lots of clean, fun racing. But I also know that we've seen it before, and that turn 1 can be a bit of a menace on lap 1. If someone dives down the inside, spins someone round, even though it looks like a very wide circuit, it suddenly becomes very narrow when there's a car pointing sideways.
It does indeed, and the Craner curves, the run into the old hairpin when you've got a pack of cars around you and on cold tyres. I think we even saw it in our first round when we visited the national layout. Very easy to just put your car in slightly the wrong position, it loads up and it goes and snaps on you. So hopefully we will not see that tonight on any of the 3 races that we've got this evening at the start. As we're saying right at the start, you do not want to have a bad first race, so or any race for that matter, but particularly not the first one.
Yeah, at least with like second race, if you do mess it up, it's okay because you'll just end up probably starting. At least you have that good first race and you kind of recover in race 3, and there's usually a bit more shenanigans happening at race 3. I have started on pole before and then thrown it away in race 3, which is not a very good feeling either. But yeah, it's going to be a fun one to watch. They're just sorting out bits and bobs, admin doing admin things right now. So hopefully we'll get to the grid soon. And yeah, I have good memories of this place. I quite enjoy it as a track, both national and GP. Do you have a preference on national or GP, Chuggy?
I think I do prefer the national layout. It has, and you mentioned it, a little bit of everything from a corner point of view, plenty of commitment, and the beauty of the national layout is it's about a minute 10 a lap. So if you wanted to, for example, shake down a car, learn it, just practice, some mid-speed or getting used to some trail braking, you get it all in a very short space of time. So it's a good track to learn a car, to practice your technique, and a great track to race on. So yeah, I think national for me.
National for you, yeah. I think you're probably right actually in that regard. I like obviously the GP circuit for us tonight gives us those extra overtaking opportunities, but just make the circuit surprisingly much longer. I can't remember what lap times are for the national circuit, but I think it's like 20 seconds. When you've got a 90-second lap with GP circuit, I think it's more like 1 minute 10 or 1 minute 5. So I think it was. So you're adding a good 20-25 seconds on, but we do get those extra. I would definitely say 2 overtaking zones. I'm not sure as you go on to the GP circuit that left, right, and the S's is well, if you've seen in the real world, usually there's a big stack of tyres that then someone just absolutely rides over, which I think actually happened this season at the GP circuit in British touring cars.
Yes, well, we'll have to kill on your most recent visit to Donington Park, perhaps in some of the space between the second and third or first and second races. But yes, there's the hairpins are. Well, the hairpins are a great addition to the layout. They obviously are naturally a slow speed corner, but it punishes you if you obviously overshoot, you miss your apex. But the beauty is they switch back on each other. So where you may be attacking in one part, you'll be defending in the next. So it's a good combination of corners there to add to the layout, and it does add a lot.
It does, and we talked about how the undulation of the Melbourne hairpin is you can go very deep in Melbourne hairpin, which really opens opportunity to dive down the inside. But then you're on the outside for Goddard's, and it feels like it's like negative camber. It's kind of pushing you out as you go around that final left-hand turn. But and then obviously if you stick it around the outside there, you've got to hope that the other car realises and gives you the space on the outside. Otherwise, you'll be pushed onto the gravel in a very narrow line of gravel before it's a barrier. So I've had that before as well, sadly. I think that was actually in a race 1, actually thinking about it. So yeah, ruined that opportunity there. But hey ho. It's a fun circuit. It's like I said, the amount of undulation you have, especially running down the hill of once you've done Redgate down to Craner Curves and Old Hairpin, it is steep. It doesn't look like it, but believe me, it's steep.
Well, I mean, while we're just waiting for some of the technical gremlins to be beaten into submission, you were trackside, were you not, Phil, at Donington GP for the most recent visit of the British Touring Car Championship?
I was with a couple of the league admins as well. We were down for Donny GP and had a great day out. It was my second year going. I did it on my own last year. This year, did it with a few friends and walked around. And I'll save the race 2 chatter for maybe between race 1 and race 2. But yeah, fun day out. Obviously, I've only done before that. I've only ever done Thruxton. I did Snetterton once. It's a great MSV circuit, really good facilities, and be able to get around. As ever, you're fighting in the car park, the race to the gate to get out. But the actual spectator views you have a brilliant. Don't bother paying for the Turn 1 grandstand. Just take yourself a seat, or just walk around and enjoy it and take it all in. And as always with British touring cars, there's a decent support package going on as well, which we don't have here, but we also don't have all night. Although we have a support package I've noticed on the videos here, because if you watch closely, you'll sometimes see a few Clios following our British touring cars.
So now there's a bit of interesting multi-class racing that that would liven things up a bit, would it not? But then again, when the British Touring Car Championship started, it was multiple different formulas of vehicle, and then they did an interesting points calculation at the end to declare the first victor. Anyway, that's a story for another time. But Donington, it's been a track with a lot of history in the real world, racing here since the 1930s, and of course there was that attempt to bring Formula One back to Donington in the early 2000s, which would have completely destroyed the track layout, adding a new kind of infield section between Goddard's and kind of heading down towards the old hairpin. I don't know about you, Phil, but I'm kind of glad that didn't happen, because it would have totally changed the character of this circuit, linking the back straight, Starkey straight, into the Melbourne hairpin just in one go, no S's, lose Goddard's. It would have been a bit of a different animal.
It would have been. I think Aidan Millwood on YouTube did a video about it, actually, the plan for it, which is worth checking out from the history side. Yeah, it would have ruined it, especially you've got a nice view here. That large infield area is fantastic for spotting, like depth watching down the hill and being able to get across quickly to either side of the circuit. Yeah, I'm kind of glad they didn't do it in the end, but at the same time, you have to remember that they did kind of start digging the place up. The old hairpin bridge went, and we nearly lost Donny full stop. They were really in a bad place once the economic crash of the early 2000s, 2010s happened, and kind of half a dug up circuit, no F1 coming, and luckily managed to recover and give us the great racing we've seen since. But in a parallel universe, F1 is racing here, which is crazy when you've got Silverstone. But again, that was, I think, its own financial problems at the time, and I'm glad that both circuits have recovered the way they were. Don't get me wrong, we've all watched Senna's lap in the wet around here, but I'm glad F1 stayed at Silverstone personally.
Yes, and I'd agree there. And of course, Silverstone being our next stop on the calendar as well, and its national layout, which has got its own challenges as well. So I said it right at the start of the season. We surveyed our drivers to see if they had any particular favourite stops on the calendar, but we are spoilt with such a wonderful range of circuits in this country, and it's great to be able to visit them, enjoy them, and enjoy the medium of touring car racing as well. Which it's popularity of sports car, GT racing, Formula racing is wonderful, but I think the touring car format, the touring car formula, always just has something a bit special. And particularly if you go and roll back the clock to the 60s, the 70s, you had, I don't know, massive Camaros against Mini Coopers, just something a bit special.
Talking of something a bit special, we've got some cars on the grid, Juggy. Yeah, we're a bit careful here, a race may break out. Yep, they are currently going to grid right now. Hopefully everything to do with the HEMS boost system. So we run a turbo boost system, much like they do in the real touring car world. It's an external system to R-Factor 2 that links in, and it's the first season they've run it with help of I can't remember the name of the racing league that helps out, actually, that's helped us use this and improve this tool. It's obviously external, which means it needs to speak to a separate server. So it can be a few server shenanigans, making sure everyone's set it up properly, make sure the right amount of boost for each car is handled. And I think, I'm crossing fingers, I'm crossing everything here, really. I think we're ready to go.
So let's cross everything as our drivers are underway. Yes, we are good to go. So we'll run through our grid one more time here just before we start race 22 for this evening. So starting on pole position, we will have championship protagonist Daniel Hurlock. He will be followed by his teammate Ryan Elliott, both of them in the lovely liveried pink RSR cars. Cedar Wire will start in third place with Fraser Hart in fourth. Luke Mitchell will start fifth with Louis Neal in sixth place. Then we have the two Drags of Ben Willis and Jordan Richardson starting in 7th and 8th, with Callum Cripps and Callum Wilson starting in 9th and 10th. We'll then have Scott Mitchell-Marm in 11th place with Ross McGregor. We'll have Jack Nichols in the King's car following them. As I just wait for the timing tower to cycle around.
Alan Smith is in 16th. He's in 14th. Yes, it does help if I unmute myself. 14th place is Alan Smith. Thomas O'Leary starting in 15th. That's because of obviously some drivers have penalties taking on from Knockhill. Matt Richards 16th. Zach Evans is in 17th with Mitch Murray 18th. Martha Magnuson is in 19th. Jack London 20th, and then it's the Unlimited Motorsport Esports of Jordan Osborne and Simon Trebek in 21st and 22nd.
There we go. There's all of our runners and riders for the first race. Got an interesting array, and we'll talk through the tyre options and strategies available to our drivers this evening. But we've got a few on the option tyre, which is the harder tyre this evening. So we've got Dan Herlock opting for that hard tyre. Ryan Elliott, his teammate, opting for the medium, the prime tyre. So we'll have to see as the evening goes on if the option tyre is going to play out for our drivers there this evening. And as we mentioned before, we have this boost system as well, so plenty of strategic elements for our drivers to work with across our 3 races tonight. So as our front row make their way to their grid position, some aggressive tyre warming going on from the BMW of, I believe that is Louis Neal, just taking up his 6th grid spot. We wait for everyone to round the final corner and take their grid positions. It's got Thomas O'Leary in picture, and now we just wait for those lights to come on. The revs rise, the engine notes start to sing, the lights are on, and we are underway for race 1 here this evening. Dan Herlock gets away well. Ryan Elliott immediately goes across to the inside to cover from Cedo Wire as they run now down into Redgate for the first time. Herlock taking a nice wide line, carrying as much speed as possible, as Ryan Elliott definitely starting to cover and guard his teammate, who streaks down the Craner curves here for the very first time. Everyone cleanly through Redgate on this, the first time of asking. A little bit of lawn mowing going through the Craner curves, but it looks like everyone has got through cleanly there.
It looks like, yep, we're all good through the curves, which is great to see. And yeah, I mean, the way that the cars are pointing, we knew exactly where they're going to go at the start. And yeah, Elliott's going to do a little bit of rear guard action, I imagine, for whoa, there's some sideways Cedo. Manages to hold it, and it's going to back up the crew. Someone goes there, that's Martha, I think, off and out.
Sideways Cedo, sideways Martha. That's pity to lose her that early. Looks like she's recovering from an early moment there. Into the gravel she goes, but recovering nicely. These tyres are cold, folks, and boy oh boy, they are not fun when they are cold. So everyone proceeds their way through the end of the second sector into the S's for the first time of asking. Fast left-right chicane with no elevation or camber to help you. They now run down this little hill. Seems little, but is large. Heavy on the brakes there. One of the Brabham cars up the inside of Fraser Hart goes Callum Cripps, who's had a great start from the 5th row of the grid. He's up to 5th place.
Yeah, great start there, and everyone actually through that chicane when there was no 2x2s at all. Was when we start to see a few more 2x2s happening now. As Ben Willis has lost a couple of positions down to 8th, but it looks like we're all just about making it through one piece. As 8/10th gap already for Herlock. Like I said, he won't have much boost, but he'll be relying on his teammate to support him, and they're kind of putting away already pretty well.
O'Leary into 13th place there. He's got Ross McGregor for company, and we've got a little bit of a moment there for one of the King's cars, losing a little bit of momentum on the exit of Redgate. It's Jack Nichols, just hearing from cameraman extraordinaire. Thank you so much, sir. And yes, a little mistake at the first corner there. You lose so much momentum, and you're absolute sitting duck for the pack behind. So a couple places lost there.
Yeah, battle of the Ford Focuses, and then goes battle of the Ford in a Honda sandwich there. It's Luke Mitchell. Who have I got here? Sorry, we've got Luke Mitchell in 4th with Cedo and Callum between. Callum's going to look at the inside for that corner, but then gives the outside for the chicane. It's a bit of a run. It depends if anyone dares to use their boost early on, which they don't. And they're going to do a little bit of team game here, working together, or they're just going to let it play out for a bit. I think they're going to let it play out and see what happens next.
So it definitely looks like Luke, race winner this year, wants to be going places. He's got a bit of an overlap and a bit of a run on Cedo. And oh my goodness, Cripps making a move there as well on his teammate. Say it will be interesting with these traction zones and these front wheel drive cars. Are they perhaps managing their tyres, just keeping them a little bit back in the locker for a bit later on in the race? We have seen the tyre drop off be quite something, even in these short 20 or so minute sprint races.
Ben Willis has been pushed round. That was with, I think, Scott Mitchell-Marm, one of the Kings, had the inside. I think thought that they had didn't have an overlap, but they definitely did. And that's Ben pushed down to 15th place, but he's still in the points since his teammate just ahead of him.
It'd be good to get a replay on that one, a bit of an unusual one. Very deceiving corner, Goddards. You think you're at the apex, you think you can accelerate, and nope, it drops away from you, and you end up going a lot wider than perhaps you'd expect. So not sure if that's what happened there, but definitely some contact and off into the inside wall. Ooh,
yeah, that's a very sideways. Is that O'Leary? No, it's not O'Leary. It's someone behind him. That was Callum Wilson. Has managed to recover. He's back on circuit, but losing position to hammer over fists as we see O'Leary having a bit of a battle there with Jack Nichols for 11th. He's determined to make up some places, some hell or high
robust
water.
Yeah,
yes.
Robust. And here comes a replay. I think we'll get a little bit of a look here. What happened between the Drake driver and the King's driver here? So on the brakes into the Goddard's hairpin, you can see that little drop, and yeah, a little bit of a hook there on the rear quarter panel, and it just sent Ben there the wrong way.
Yeah, and he's falling down the order as well suddenly, so I think he's had another problem. Yep, I think he's out. Alan Smith is round as well, so that's those two pointing the wrong way at the moment.
So drama, bumping and banging here on lap 3 of 14 of our first race here this evening. Our drivers definitely not leaving anything out from their respective racecraft lockers. Everyone seemingly wanting to get a move on.
Yep, we're getting a replay. So running down towards the S's, so there's a little bit of side-by-side action. I can't, again, I think it's a bit of hooking of one into the other. I don't know who's going left, who's going right, but just before the braking zone, just gets tapped round and then bosh into those quite solid barriers, sadly. So, yeah, I think they're both struggling now, but running 20th and 21st.
Running first and second, we've got Herlock and Elliott. The RSR plan seemingly is working to perfection so far. A little bit of cover from Elliott off the start. Herlock's made a bit of a run, and now these two are in flying formation, cruise control for the RSR cars so far. Definitely interesting to see a bit of a gap being opened up between Elliott and Mitchell at this stage, both on the medium tyre. So it's still a long way to go. They've got the tyres to manage, the boost to manage, and you can see in our tower on the left-hand side different levels of boost for our drivers to make use of during the race.
Yep, so most drivers have 8, and obviously the top 8 have diminishing amount. So O'Leary only has 1, I think it's Herlock with 2, and then you'll see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as Jack London here in 16th place, just outside the points, looking at Jordan Osborne, who's obviously had a good race, kept it clean, and gone from 22nd to 15th at the moment, so keep doing that and he'll gain points during the course of the evening. But yeah, that gap from Elliott to Mitchell, 1.8 seconds, just nice and easy. It's half a second between Herlock and Elliott, but Elliott won't be pushing his teammate at all.
So the forward sandwich, this time of Cupra variety, has been broken apart a little bit, running deep there. The Cupra of, I think that is Jordan Osborne. We got Jack London fighting, trying to escape that sandwich position, and he's got an overlap and he's got a bit of a run down into Redgate. Can he get this one done on the brakes? Looks like they're side by side, bit of a bump, and he is through.
His teammate looks like he's also going to try and take the opportunity at the same time. He said, well, if he's going to follow through, I'll go with him. And yeah, it's now Jack into that last points paying position. So yeah, fights up and down the field, as just seeing what the kind of fights are that are close. I think 6th and 7th is our nearest battle in terms of... Oh, Cedo's gone straight on. Cedo's off.
Oh, that is fiery end to Cedo's first race. That must be some sort of hardware failure. That's tragic for the Brabham driver. Really quick this evening. Yes, that's a very unusual one.
I think he put some 2 tyres on the grass and then couldn't brake. I'm just saying, yeah, there's 2 tyres on the grass.
My goodness.
And, there's slightest of errors, and that's it.
Slightest of errors and no room for margin. So, that's a huge pity, huge shame. Just slightly out of position and an absolute passenger into the barrier there at McLean's.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happens. Then your race 2 and race, like I said, now will be starting pretty much at the back of the grid. So yeah, on board here. So he goes through a little kink left-hander, and then we just touch the grass on the curb. We're going very wide in understeer, and then yes, maybe it is a hardware problem because then he's on the brakes, but obviously grass and gravel isn't going to help, and he's only half on the brakes. So yeah, I have to speak to him later and see what happened there. Such a shame, but good news for O'Leary, up to 11th.
Indeed, a freebie as some would call it, but a hard bit of luck for Cedo there, so a real pity. But our Our drivers carry on. O'Leary up to 11th. He was 13th last time we were with him. Jordan Richardson, who's having an absolutely standout season, up into 5th place for Drake, doing an excellent job. Cripps up to 4th place ahead of them. A couple of rising drivers have made it a lot of places so far in this race. Meanwhile, we've got Herlock and Elliott still kind of flying formation up the front. Luke Mitchell, though, has gained about 6/10 over the last few laps.
He has indeed, but I don't know how much boost. Is any boost involved? No, there isn't actually, which is interesting. Richardson's used a lap of his, probably to get that fastest lap. McGregor's used a couple already. We've been watching Callum Wilson in 17th, fighting Jordan Osborne in 16th with his teammate on that last points paying position. So Callum's trying to recover. As we see the run down, is he using a little bit of boost? And then gets the inside, and surely that's him up to 16th. So next position is for a point.
Yeah, we'll have to see if the Cupra fights this one back. Sounds like he is on boost as well, but looks like nothing doing this time. Wilson secures that 16th place, and it can be one of those tricky things. You want to fight for every position, but as the race pans out, sometimes it's better to just let that faster car at that point pass, and you never know what may happen a lap or two in future. Now we're back with Luke Mitchell. He has well and truly caught the back of these RSR cars up, so this powered by Loadout Racing Ford Focus has places to be.
It does indeed. Yeah, he's made a couple of positions up since the start of the race, and yeah, as we were saying earlier, is this just Elliott and Herlock? Elliott saying, look after those tyres. Obviously, Herlock's on the harder tyres, so should last a little bit longer. And is it just Elliott saying, look after them? Is he using a little bit of boost this lap? I think it's all fine so far. We're coming up to halfway through the race, and so far so good for the RSR guys. Obviously, there's still half a race to go, as we're starting to see now drivers have enough boost until the end of the race, so we'll start to see a lot more boost being used. As we're watching here, Matt Richards in 11th, fighting O'Leary, who's up to 10th now.
Gained a couple of places for Richards, definitely gained a couple of places for O'Leary. So again, drivers making their way forward as the race plays out. But no, it's interesting just to mention, Herlock, there's managing the race, just going, the speed that you need to secure the race win. But I think Mitchell's got some real momentum behind him, and this being the track that it is, momentum is a big deal. So we'll have to see what he can do when he catches the back of Elliott. Will Elliott hold him up? Will he be able to stop him making any further progress? Richards making some more moves there, defending against the King's car, just about holding off, I believe that was Evans.
It's Jack Nichols in the King's car. Zach Evans was kind of watching it all. And Zach's now like, well, I'll have a piece of this action. It's quite close fighting here. I'm guessing they're going to all start using boost, and who's going to dive where. Is anyone looking for the inside there? I think 14th place Jack London looks like he wants to get involved as well. It says, well, if you're going to leave that door open, I'm going to go through it.
And 3 does. I think a little bit of boost there, actually a bit of contact, just front to rear there, just the difference in engine power when that boost is being used. So position gain for the Calamity driver. Speaking of positions gained for a Calamity driver, Ross McGregor, he might not have had the practice, but he's up to 7th already, so he's having a good run too. Top 3 altogether, and we're hearing from cameraman extraordinaire possible damage on Ryan Elliott's car.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he's got that from. I don't think he'd be pushing. Is he actually going to push his teammate? He's pushing his teammate. He's using... right. This is good. This is an interesting tactic. So you've got Herlock not on boost. You've got Elliott on boost, and Elliott is actually using his boost to push Herlock forward. That'll be an interesting one for the admins to look at, the old stewards to look at later. But technically, there's nothing wrong with doing that. He's using his own boost to push Herlock along.
So there's bump drafting, and then there is, I'd say, the inevitability of if they don't go quicker, everyone's going to catch them. Because look, we've got 4th, 5th. They are not far behind. The RSR cars at the moment just aren't displaying their usual dominance.
Well, I mean, obviously, Elliott here is going to be able to use boost every single lap to boost Herlock. So surely that's all he's going to do is keep boosting Herlock around. He's not going to overtake him. He's literally going to sit on his bumper, give him a push on the straights, and use that effectively to hold up Mitchell. Let's be honest here, if you offered Herlock a 2nd or even 3rd, he'd take it right now with O'Leary down in 10th, but this is RSR doing everything they can to make sure Herlock gets the most amount of points.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Does make sense. I just worry you've got up to 6th place there, all within one camera shot now. So it's a bit of a gamble. We'll have to see if it works out. But so far, they are maintaining their 1-2 position. 9 laps in the books, just 5 to go. including this one. So we'll have to see if it works out. Luke Mitchell all the time will be just taking his time, looking at where these Astras are strong, where they're weak. They'll be figuring out how to make the best of his equipment to try and get past them both.
It will indeed. I was watching, seeing that yellow, I think, was for Mitch Marie, who's going on a straight with his left hand down. So I think he's had a bit of an incident. But I think, yeah, it's an interesting tactic here. Now I think what you're going to see now is Elliot just going to hug the inside everywhere and do everything to slow up Mitchell and give Herlock the opportunity to run away. Is he going to try and No, he's going to try the outside. Nope, he's not there.
So trying to do the old oval lines, take the longer line round, carrying a bit more momentum. Didn't quite work that time around, but it's going to be a absolute masterful defence, or an attempt to have a masterful defence to defend this position, because Luke, he is a mighty quick driver. We'll have to see what Ryan can do, also in a quick driver in his own regard. So we've got 3 for the lead. We've got 3 for 4th, 5th and 6th, and that's a move there from Richardson. Does he pull that one off? Yes, he... Oh, no, he did, but didn't.
Oh, that's such a shame. Richardson, we were just saying about how much of a good season he's having, and didn't see how much of an overlap he had with, I think I was with Callum Cripps. But it's another place gain for O'Leary up to 9th as Luke Mitchell's moving.
Mitchell is through. Elliot definitely showing his displeasure at the physicality of that one, but the Ford Focus gains another place. And we'll have to see what Dan Herlock now has in his locker. Has he been conserving some tyres, conserving the boost, obviously? What can he now do now that he doesn't have that rear gunner?
Yeah, this is going to be tough for him now. 2 laps of boost compared to, well, Mitchell's got another 3 basically, and I think Mitchell's is now going to sail across into the lead if he plays his cards right, and he does indeed. So, if you're Herlock right now, do you let your teammate go to try and hunt down Mitchell and hold him up again? Or do you now say, you know what, you hold him 3rd, I'll hold 2nd, I'll just take 2nd?
It's an interesting strategic look as we have a replay here. We've got Fraser Hart, his perspective.
They're still fighting. Oh, Elliot's hit Herlock. Elliot's hit Herlock. Elliot has hit Herlock. Luckily, they're still pointing the right way, but I think we need to watch this at the moment. Is Mitchell back down the inside? You had Herlock dive down the inside of that first hairpin, and Elliot taking the wider line. He took his own teammate out. Mitchell came back at the next hairpin and has got it back. Is Herlock going to dive here? Or he is going to go for it. He definitely wants that win, whatever happens. But right now, if I was Herlock, I'll be taking the 2nd.
As the scrap, it brings everyone close together. We've now got 5 for the lead. It's an interesting gambit that the RSR drivers are playing, but I'm not sure if it's going to work out for them. They've now got even more cars to defend from. Hopefully we'll be able to get a replay of that little scrap from our leading 3 as they went through their hairpin and Goddards. I think we do have that replay coming up very, very shortly.
Yeah, so here we go. So obviously we've got Luke Mitchell into the lead, goes through the S's here, and everything so far is perfectly normal. I'm guessing at this point Herlock thinks, you know what, I'm going to use a little bit of boost myself, and has a little bit of power. He's looking late dive, relatively late, but shows it, gets it there, a little bit of contact there. That then pushes him wide, and look at that, nearly takes out his teammate. And then I think Luke Mitchell here says, well, no, I've now got the inside for the next one, and I'm going to take it.
So, and this is obviously where we rejoin the action. So a little bit of drama, a little bit of banging and bumping of bumpers there. If I could get my words out, I'm here all week. So as our drivers exit the Melbourne hairpin for the 11th of 14 times, we've got some boost being used by Mitchell trying to break away, but we've now got those 2 RSR cars well and truly kept in close company by Fraser Hart and Callum Cripps, both of whom are having great races here so far tonight.
I think it was a brilliant tactic from Elliot, and he's still doing it now. I think he's still trying to push his teammate along, trying to do the best they can with the boost that they've got. And obviously, like I said, Herlock's obviously only got 2 laps of boost, but he's importantly getting those hard tyres out of the way in race 1, which means he's going to be moving for race 2 because he'll have the same amount of boost, but he's going to have those so far looking faster medium tyres. But it'll be these last 2 laps to see if anyone's medium tyres start going off.
So it definitely looks like the option tyre, normally an advantage, is firmly a disadvantage. So Herlock doing a good job to get rid of it here in the first race, but going to be a tall order to get the race win at this point. Now we're on board and following Jack Nicholls in 13th place. He has got Matt Richards for close company just ahead. And as they run up towards McLean's, We've got a little bit of a scrap here between Zach Evans and the Cupras. We've now got a Honda Civic sandwich between these Cupras now.
Like these sandwiches today, aren't we? We are kind of going one by one, kind of everywhere. So the Cupras are also need to be careful. They're both in the points at the moment. I know they're not 15th and 16th. I apologise, but they could try and get both in the points. Depends on how much fighting they do with Zach Evans. Yeah, just looking at the front again, Fraser Hart and Callum Cripps are getting very close there now to Elliott. I think now it's a case of defend hard, defend like anything, and just hope that Hurlock can hold on to second as Fraser Hart's going to look around the outside and then try and give himself a nice boost on exit, but can't quite do it, which gives Cripps the opportunity as Fraser's going to use that boost he's got at the end just to make sure he stays ahead and stays in fourth.
Yeah, good attempt to try and go around the outside. Not much grip, not much camber to help you contain and maintain your momentum around there. But it's pretty clear that the two cars behind these RSRs definitely have a bit more of an edge at this stage of the race. Elliott's putting up a defensive masterclass for his teammate, trying to conserve as many points as possible. Not much further to go for these two drivers. We'll have to see if they can hold on. Ross McGregor, though, under a lot of pressure here from Scott Mitchell-Malm. Two Ford Focuses scrapping here as they run through Sector 1 up towards McLean's.
Yeah, McGregor's a whole 3 seconds behind Callum Cripps in fifth now, so I think he's basically playing for sixth, which, you know, considering his first race back is not a bad place to be. Worth pointing out, Matt Richards has just dropped down to 13th. He's fighting Jack Nichols as he's going to come, I think, back up to 12th. He's got no more boost left. So that's this lap and the next lap. He's going to have to struggle with people around him that have definitely got boost. So I imagine Nichols in a minute is going to absolutely run away as we see Elliott and Fraser Hart still, Elliott still doing his rear gunner job beautifully.
Yeah, Hart's just catching up to the back of that Astra now, so he's definitely going to be there for the last lap. And the last pass around all of these hairpins, and yeah, Elliott doesn't have too much more defending to do, but here we've got a scrap. We've got Matt Richards, and I believe that is the King's car of...
You've got Jack Nichols and Zach Evans.
Jack Nichols, thank you. Yep, just scanning through the drivers' names, and I'm failing to read as well as speak. Oh, there we go, having a shocker. But these two are not. They're putting on some good racing down into the Goddard's hairpin, and we've got lots of people now vying for this 12th and 13th place. Everyone's scrapping for every point available.
They are indeed, and you've got Jordan Richardson, obviously, with his earlier spin, just kind of lurking in the background nearly to see what Richards can do for him. As yeah, pretty much everyone's now got a lap of boost, and all using obviously on this last lap. So honours even on the boost, but what about tyre wear?
So we'll have to see. Jordan Richardson recovering in 17th place, has a great view of this conga line as they work their way down into the old hairpin. This is a big drag sandwich, if you will. Richards through to Richardson. What can I say? I'm hungry. Hungry for good racing. So up the hill they go terrible. Towards McLean's. Jack Nichols looking for a way past that drag driver, carrying excellent momentum through the apex to the exit. He's trying around the outside of Coppice. That'll be a good move if he can get that one done. Looks like he's trying to switch back. I
imagine he's just going to use the boost if he's got any more left. It's just pump the boost down as we watch Elliott doing his rear kind of action beautifully. It gives an opportunity to Cripps. But yeah, Mitchell's done brilliant here. He made a good amount of progress those early laps. I think RSR have done everything they possibly can to salvage the most points, and they've done a good job, but Mitchell gets it.
So Mitchell has taken his victory lap there. First place for him, and it looks like a bit of formation flying for the RSRs as they have done this whole race. Hurlock coming home second from Elliott. Cripps got Fraser Hart there right on the last gasp of the 14th lap, so pity for Fraser there.
It is indeed, as Jack Nichols is still looking at the back of that Honda Civic, as both Unlimited Motorsports esports drivers get points. 14th for Jordan Osborne and 15th on debut for Simon Trebek. Nice work.
Very nice. And she had a moment right at the start of the race that we saw. Martha took the car back to the pits, got it repaired, lapped down, but she's still running, which is what we like to see.
And that's important. That's worth calling out here, because obviously that was, I think, the first driver to go off on lap 1. And you're probably thinking at that point, you know what, retire the car, I'll just start 22nd. Because 2 other cars retired, Cedo and Mitch Marie, it means Martha, she's going to start in 20th. You know, that's a whole row forward just put the laps in, put the practice in. I don't know actually what tyre they're on, if they're getting the hard out of the way early, or but you know, it's a couple of places that they wouldn't have had. Yeah, so hard's out of the way, 2 places gained. Yeah, it's annoying that, you know, the mistake at the start of the race, but having said all the how depressing it is to start race 1 and make a mistake, you've still got races 2 and 3. So, at that point, you're looking for a little bit of chaos from race 2 and hoping to get that reverse up the grid for race 3. But you never know what happens.
You never know indeed. So race 1 in the books. Let's run through that finishing order for you. So we have Luke Mitchell forcing his way forward in that loadout Ford Focus, coming home in first place. Dan Hurlock in his championship ambitions coming home second, with Ryan Elliott rounding out the podium in third. Callum Cripps and Fraser Hart came home fourth and fifth, with Ross McGregor and Scott Mitchell-Marm bringing their Ford Focuses home sixth and seventh. Then to round out our top 10, we have Louis Neal, Thomas O'Leary and Jack London. Good recovery there for Thomas O'Leary, starting in the midfield.
Callum Wilson there finishing 11th, with Matt Richards holding on at the end there for 12th. Jack Nichols 13th, and our final points paying positions go to Jordan Osborne and Simon Trebek in 14th and 15th. Zach Evans in 16th, Jordan Richardson and Ben Willis for Drake in 17th and 18th. Alan Smith has turned that 6 upside down to finish 19th, and Martha Allington was the final finisher in 20th position, and then the 2 retirements of Mitch Marie and Cedo Wire.
So 22 started, 20 came home. Not too bad. 2 more races to go. And, race 1, there was a bit more action, a bit more frantic. We talk about wanting to have just a quiet, a solid race 1, but a few of our drivers definitely leaving nothing to the imagination, getting things done early tonight.
Yeah, and the push to, if I say push to pass, it was push to push, wasn't it, that Elliott was doing there with Hurlock. I think that's the first time we've seen it. It's probably the first opportunity they've had to do that. But with such long straights, it makes perfect sense that use that boost to push your, the championship leader and your teammate to keep them ahead as long as possible. I think that works. We saw how close 3rd, 4th, and 5th were. I think it was a good tactic to get the most amount of points to that team. And I think, if you'd offered second at the start of this race to Hurlock, he would have taken it. So he's very pleased.
Indeed, it's certainly not one that we had on the bingo card, that's for sure. It's tough though, isn't it? That you're in a good position in the race. You don't want to go backwards. Of course you don't. But it's a bit of a risk. If that bump drafting didn't quite go right, perhaps you send your colleague off. It could go so very wrong. But they were able to manage.
We saw it.
Yeah, as you can say, it worked out just about for them.
Yeah, it did indeed. We'll see if they can do it again in race 2. Obviously, Hurlock is now going to have 2 laps of boost, and Elliott there's only going to have 3. So they're gonna struggle. I think they're not going to work as much.
Yeah, and I think speaking of things which just didn't seemingly switch on for anyone, those hard tyres definitely look to be a bit of a burden, frankly. We'll talk about the tyre strategy across the 10 rounds of the championship, with the exception of Thruxton, due to its abrasive nature. Everyone gets to pick 3 sets of option tyres in our 3 races that we have at each round. We're getting towards the business end of the championship, of course. Folks will be running out of races where they can pick to use that option tyre. And just looking at the tyre choices for this evening, Dan Hurlock, for example, our championship leader, he had to kind of take it here. He's got a couple of options available for the 3rd race remaining, but that's the only race he can take them in. So of our runners and riders tonight, 10 got that hard tyre out the way, but that means the rest, everyone else, will need to run those hard tyres, and it certainly is a tricky thing to manage.
It is indeed. And yeah, it was like I said, getting it out of the way in race 1. I used to love getting out of the way in race 1. The soft tyre, I never liked the soft tyre. I just couldn't make it last a race, so I would try and get it away early. Race 2, I used to hate. It was my least favourite race to pick the option tyre in, because you're basically always switching tyres, soft, either medium soft medium, or medium hard soft, or medium hard medium. I'd rather get it out of the way early, or just use it at the end. Using it in the middle is just a bit of a pain. And also race 3, you want it for race 3, final race of the season, but sadly everyone wants it for race 3, final race of the season. So I imagine it'll be busy come Brand's GP there.
Indeed. So as we look to our next race, obviously of the evening, if you're interested in VMO and the racing that we have available, feel free to obviously give us a search across the various search engines. Come along to our Discord server, where you'll find a lovely growing community, all sorts of racing to be had here at VMO, be it touring cars, be it a little bit of rallying or some sports car racing. We're a friendly bunch, so if you're interested in being on the grid next year, come and give us a look on the Discord, and we'd lovely to have you with us. And we've got a few drivers on the grid this very evening who have done that, so that's good to see. And just keeping an eye on the drivers lounge between the second and third races, just had it confirmed that poor Orsido, who had that spectacular off in the first race, had a screen freeze of all things, which explains why he went straight on and couldn't do much else. So a fiery end to his first race. And well, we've mentioned it a few times. We don't get engine failures. We don't get brake problems. We get different types of problems of racing in the virtual world. Fortunately, Cedo having one of those there. Also good to see Martha in the chat saying, yep, got the hard tyre out the way. So that's good for you, Martha. Hopefully you'll be able to make use of these medium tyres in the next two races. And just having a look at the runners and riders that we've got here this evening, we'll have 8 using that hard tyre in the second race. So just having a quick scan, I don't think we've got... no, we don't have O'Leary using the hard tyre in the second race. So I think Herlock and O'Leary got the hard tyre out in the first race. So honours even between those two. Let's see who can make the most of their medium tyre.
Yes, but obviously, Herlock getting the full... well, not quite full, was he? I think 18 points, I think it is, and then compared to 10th, which is like 5 or 6. So, already a 10 to 12 point swing in that one race alone, which that 19-point gap is going to collapse. Well, it's already halved, basically, in race 1. And obviously, again, race 2, it's the same positions as that race 1 finish. So, so far, so good for Herlock. But 14 laps, it's a long time on those mediums. And your rear gunner doesn't have as much boost to help you this time.
And that was what I was just about to mention. O'Leary is starting 8th or 9th or so, I believe. So he will have a good amount of boost. Perhaps not complete full allocation, but a good amount. And, well, we can see how effective it is in getting that pass done. So with the RSRs now not having that boost advantage, it's going to be interesting to see if they try that boost, that bump drafting strategy again. Or if they're able, now that they've got the hard tyre out the way, just to run away as we normally see those RSR Astras do.
Yeah, the question is, obviously, is also O'Leary going to return back to his race 2 winning ways from 9th on the grid? It's going to be a tall order, but he will have that full 8 laps of boost rather than 1. But yeah, it's also going to be a fun one to watch.
Yes, and with a few very quick drivers, so Cedo, for example, being one of those, with some excellent pace on show in qualifying and the practice, starting towards the back, we're definitely going to have some drivers making their way through for our reverse grid race, of course, at the end. So those finishing from 6th through to 12th will be entered into a hat. We'll draw a random number, and whoever finished in that position will be put on pole position. So for the midfield and those who perhaps haven't had the ideal start to the evening, there's still something to race for.
Yep, definitely. Obviously, I'm interested to see how those Unlimited Motorsport esports guys do now from 14th to 15th. Are they going to be able to work together to push themselves up the grid and try and get one of them on the reverse pole? That's going to be an exciting one to watch. I was at this point we usually ask each other what do you usually race this on? Like, have you done this on? I think this is on iRacing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So have you raced it often on iRacing?
A fair amount. I think the last time I actually raced around here was in Formula Fords, and had a superb race with oh gosh, his name's Emil, but I forget his surname. But former Formula 2 chap who streams on Twitch. Oh, it was such good fun. Yes, it doesn't matter if it's fast, if it's slow. This circuit, it suits pretty much everything, I think, and. I think if you get some smaller cars with some slipstream effect, I'm thinking like a little Legend or a Mini, even more antics, because you can get 3 or 4 of those side by side around here.
Yeah, well, the real Minis did pretty well around here as well. They've done recently. So yeah, I'm trying to think what I've done. Obviously VMO, I've done it here, but I don't think I've done TCUK, obviously on iRacing. But I don't think I've done anything else really around Donington. I don't think I've done GT3s around here before, but I think that would be a little bit... I think we may have done back in the day, but I remember my trusty Lavorg round here. I think that's how far back we go. Now, obviously, the important question at that point, though, is have you raced in reverse before?
Well, I was going to ask you this. As the font of all reverse race circuit knowledge, Phil, have you?
No, I haven't. I don't think there are any games that you can, sadly. So I'm just wondering what. I'm just looking back at the layout as to how fun that would be, having to starting the race with 2 hairpins and then the S's. I think could be interesting, and then obviously running up the Craner curves towards Redgate. That could be fun as well, actually. I think that, you know what, this is one of the few tracks. Obviously, the pit exit onto the apex of what will be turn 1 isn't the best, but that's probably the same for most circuits in reverse. I think this is one that actually could work.
So you say that with such cynicism. Come on now.
And weirdly confidence. Yeah, this will work. Yeah, go for it. We'll try this one at some point. I think this one would probably be my favourite one to try and reverse. Because it obviously, with the undulation, would make it so much fun.
Well, I was going to say the first corner being a hairpin and uphill effectively, it would certainly make getting a good exit a challenge. That's for sure. Well, I think it's interesting when you drive a circuit. Obviously, you know it in its normal orientation, and at least for me, you have your visual reference points, and you kind of get used to the flow of the place. I was literally playing it through in my head mentally. What would it mean to drive this place in reverse? And it's kind of broken my head a bit. So I think just on that account, I want to give it a go.
There we go. Maybe this is the one that we do at some point. We speak to admins, get a winter series. Although it's official tracks, so maybe a little bit difficult. We have to all agree to drive in reverse and turn off black flags or something. Yeah, should obviously use this time to talk about, yes, I was at Donington GP for the touring cars, and I was stood at the McLean's for race 2. So got a wonderful Ben Willis, who's racing tonight, brought his beautiful camera that was nearly as tall as me, and got some wonderful shots of, sadly, Senna Proctor's crash on race 1, and then what I can only describe as lap 15, when the heavens absolutely... If people remember, on lap 15, the heavens just opened, and it opened literally on McLean's. So you have this beautiful cameras of looking at Starkey's Bridge, watching Ash Sutton, who had a bit of a dented bonnet at that point, racing. I think it was, I'll say Josh Cook, I can't remember who's racing. And then it cuts the leaders of Camish and co, just absolutely going massively onto the gravel, massively wide, because the heavens opened on that one corner. And it was fantastic and hilarious to watch, because we watched this grey cloud go over the circuit thinking it's going to rain, and it didn't. Oh, that's a shame. And then just out of nowhere, just water everywhere. And yeah, if you watch the replay, you can see me in my little red hoodie in the background, absolutely laughing my head off with my umbrella. Fantastic, hilarious, and one of my favourite touring car moments, even if I was eating gravel dust at that point.
So motorsport, I mean, there's a smell, there's a taste, in your case perhaps, that you just don't get if you watch it on the television, right? So
I think it was Dan Lloyd, the widest. I think it was the closest to crashing out in his Hyundai. They were all very lucky. It was, if anything, it was just disappointing, because as they went to Coppice, they then threw the safety car. He didn't need that, Poor old Nick Halstead actually pitted for wets, so it would have been quids in. But they sadly threw a safety car for safety, and then basically finished under a safety car, which was a complete shame, because it would have been a fantastic finale. It just needed to arrive about 4 laps earlier. Speaking of laps, formation lap.
Indeed so. No chance of rain by the looks of it this evening for our drivers, but off they roll. So we will run through our starting grid. So Luke Mitchell, winner of race 1, will start in pole position for race 2. Dan Hurlock will follow him, followed by Ryan Elliott. We'll have to see what those RSRs can do together on the medium tyre. Callum Cripps will start in 4th, with Fraser Hart in 5th. Ross McGregor, super sub, starts 6th, with Scott Mitchell-Marm in 7th. Louis Neal is in 8th, with Thomas O'Leary in 9th. And Callum Wilson will round out our top 10 for race 2 this evening.
And O'Leary therefore gets his teammate as a rear gunner now, starting 10th in Callum Wilson. Matt Richards, 11th, with Jack Nichols in 12th. We've then got those 2 Unlimited Motorsport Esports in 13th and 14th. We've obviously had someone disconnect, because they're starting 13th and 14th rather than 14th and 15th, but never mind. Zach Evans in 15th, Vapor Shield. Drake Racing of Jordan Richardson and Ben Willis in 16th and 17th. Emil Sauerberg is starting 18th, with Alan Smith in 19th, and it's then Martha Allington in 20th, Mitch Marie in 21st, Cedo Wire in 22nd, and Carl Benton has managed to hopefully get his game working. Probably worth pointing out, Cedo had I can't remember what it said, Cedo had a screen freeze, which is why he had a straight on moment. So, yeah, we're getting ready to go racing.
Just to mention, Jack London unfortunately won't be joining us for the rest of the evening. He's had an emergency. Hope everything is okay there, Jack. So yes, we'll be down one car for the rest of the night.
That's a shame. But yeah, obviously, life takes priority in these. They are pretend race cars, and yeah, obviously Luke Mitchell now on the hards as well. It's worth pointing out, and then a whole stack of mediums behind him. Before 7th place, Luke Mitchell is the second hard tyre runner. So Luke's got a lot on his hands here. I'd fancy Herlock and Elliott this time round. I think the hard tyres may have made the difference there. Just didn't really turn on in the end, and as much as they tried everything in their hand to do, it didn't quite work out for RSL for the win. So this time round, I think it's going to be different.
Yeah, there's certainly some physical racing between the top 3 in the first race. Payback time? ? We'll have to wait and see as we just wait for our final cars to get themselves into position. There we go. We just wait for the rev notes to rise. Lights are on. And it's a quick start, and off they go. And look at that advantage that Dan Herlock already off the line with those medium tyres has got. He's alongside and past Luke Mitchell as they run down into Redgate. We've got Callum Cripps up into 3rd as well. A great start there for the Brabham driver.
He's split those RSRs, which could be important for the old Herlock fighting. But he'll probably just run away now quickly as he's already got ahead Mitchell down to 3rd. Those hards are not switching on, but everyone has made it down the hill so far. Oh no, we've got sideways runners at the back there. Your Jordan Richardson was one of them, and then Motorsport Esports as well.
Yes, I think I saw Cupra off in the back there. We'll have to see if we can catch a replay of what exactly happened there. For you, unfortunately, not making it to the old hairpin this time around. But dream start for Herlock. Got the pedal to the metal, and he is up into the lead again. Cripps, though, following him closely.
Yeah, Richardson just did the front-wheel drive power out, and then he lost 1 spot in the end to his teammates. So managed to recover really well there. As yeah, we're watching kind of the group. Like I said, all sticking together. Obviously only on lap 1, so they probably will be. But Herlock already 6/10 ahead of Cripps. So and Cripps himself already 1.3 ahead of Luke Mitchell. So yeah, they are legging it basically.
So they run through the S's. Zach Evans there under threat from one of the King's cars down into the Melbourne hairpin for the first time, and Mitchell already having to go super defensive from Ryan Elliott. Little look there from the RSR car into the hairpin at Goddard's, and he's been able to get, with that medium tyre, a little more traction, and he's alongside as they run down towards Redgate. Looks like, I think, one of the BMWs there. I think that might have been Fraser having a moment as well.
Yeah, looks like he just got a little tap, possibly on exit, but managed to hold it all together, just lost a couple of positions, but importantly still going.
And mega first lap for Thomas O'Leary as a car off in the background in Redgate. O'Leary up to 5th.
Didn't see who that was, but after watching Cripps go very wide as well, and managed to recover through Bumhole as Ryan Elliott is back up to 3rd ahead of Luke Mitchell, and Thomas O'Leary is getting involved in that little fight, is looking down the inside, a little bit of a touch to try and get the inside as Ryan Elliott's going very sideways. He's going to lose all of them.
It's a... Oh no!
Contact
between the RSR and the Calamity car, and he's hard on the brakes. He's trying to avoid anyone else there, but oh dear, that's all a little bit untidy. Dream for O'Leary, though. That rear gunner is gone. He has now just got 1 car. Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. 2 cars between himself and his championship rival, Ross McGregor. Oh no, having such a strong first race, coming off the worst there.
Yeah, O'Leary and Mitchell going side by side towards the hairpin as we were seeing Elliott trying to recover. And it looks like Mitchell's got the inside now, so should still hold on the 3rd, but going 6 wide by the looks of it in that hairpin. So God knows how they're all going to come out in one piece, but it looks like somehow they have done it so far. It was fantastic to see a breadth of touring cars. And again, I think we're going 3 wide just for a laugh. But that's Ryan up to 11th. So, again, looking at reverse pole, Herlock's got a 1.4 second lead over Cripps. So himself won't have as much, I think, boost, but something to look at later as Richards is getting... is Matt Richards getting involved in the battle for 4th and 5th. With Mitchell, those hard tyres, is just sadly struggling and falling backwards.
Richards, race winner when we visited here in the national layout. Looks like he's going well here in the second race. O'Leary also getting past Mitchell there, of course. There's just a steady 6.6 second gap between O'Leary and Hurlock, so an amazing gap being pulled out by Hurlock in just a few laps. We'll have to see what these two can do. Can O'Leary overhaul that?
Yeah, Martha just did a brilliant move to get up to 15th place ahead of Zach Evans. That was a beautiful move down the hill. So them into the points, and I think Elliott will be trying to do everything they can to recover as high as they can. We're getting a replay here. This is what happened to Ross McGregor. So he's watching. We were watching that little bump, and then is he just going to tag someone? No. Oh, it's the rejoin. Of course, it's the rejoin from Elliott. Yeah. So Elliott's rejoined to the right as McGregor's looking to go to the left, get a nice outswing. So I think that could be seen as a bit of a dangerous rejoin there for Elliott, sadly, but something for later.
Something for later indeed. Just wrong place, wrong time, unfortunately, for Ross. So he had an excellent first race. I'm sure he'll be able to make some more places in this, the remainder of this race, and of course the third race tonight. We'll have to see how he can do. The breadth of touring car, I'm going to have to use that, Phil, great call. As the breadth make their way around the last corner, we've got Martha Allington in 15th place, great recovery for her. Well and truly under the rear wing of Ben Willis there. Going up the inside is Martha, and that looks like job done. Lovely stuff.
Another brilliant move.
Brilliant move, and good to see the Toyota still being represented amongst our class of 2025.
Yeah, I'm just getting a replay here. So this is Matt Richards' the view of what happened. So we're going to see that Elliott coming on. Yeah, I think that's McGregor's going left to get a good run, and then we're going to see some lawn cutting going on here from Elliott as he managed to get back on and only lose a few spots in the end. And yeah, Richards gaining 2 places up to 4th. That's how he's now up to 4th place, just under a second behind, as we see here O'Leary in 3rd, who's got the fastest lap.
Indeed, a little bit of boost there being used by Richards this time around on the exit of the Coppice corner. Down into the S as they go. Tricky little chicane complex. Now we've got Ben Willis up to 11th. Looks like we're again out of the exit of Coppice. 2x2 into the S's. That's going to be bold. And my goodness me, I think that Ford Focus pulled the handbrake just to get that one stopped.
That's not quite the racing line to take through that corner, but somehow they are still alive and all still pointing in the right direction. So yeah, no touch, just absolutely nailed going side, drifted it around the outside to get the inside for the other bit, the hairpin. As yeah, somehow still in 11th place.
St. Martha just getting up the inside there, I think, of Willis on the exits. A nice little opportunist move, a bit more banging and bumping. Sorry, I will get my words right eventually, I promise. As they complete their 5th or 4th time around, starting lap 5. And on the brakes they go into Redgate. Mitch Marie recovering from the back row of the grid on the outside and this close edge of the points there.
Yeah, doing a fantastic job trying to get into the points. As I'm looking at Selberg getting pushed into the downhill. This little midfield pack is staying very close together. Unlike last time where it was the front staying close, it's now this midfield pack is really going at it. As well as looking at the inside for 10th place. Selberg just struggling on the rear.
Synchronized drifting from Salberg and Willis there, and through goes Martha. But my goodness me, Salberg is not finished. Back through they go. My word, this gosh, how many cars we got here? 7-way fight for 13th place. Fantastic.
From breadth for just a clump, I think, of British touring cars. So it's kind of like absolute chaos. Obviously, the Drags having to be a little bit more careful because obviously they're working. Got Jordan Richardson in 12th and Ben Willis in 13th. There's Willis now Jordan Richardson, sorry, look at the inside of Selberg. Going to push them a little bit wide. They're just about, please don't tag each other round. That's fine so far. Ben Willis is then watching in the background. You've got Metro Marie fighting Martha. It's all going off in this midfield. This is a great race to watch.
It's all going the clump. This is good stuff. And look, they're still battling 3 wide on exit of Goddard.
No.
Willis, oh no!
Chaos. Yep. Saw that happening a mile off, sadly. That was, I think, Selberg trying to get a bit more overlap than they needed. But that's a shame because it was brilliant fighting up till then. Quite a few corners of 2-3 wide, and sadly it ends with them all falling out the points.
There's a grump in the clump. There we go. No grumpiness though for Dan Hurlock. He continues to lead. We've not seen much of him. He's had a quiet race. His gap is 3 seconds to Cripps, but O'Leary, he's got that gap down from 6 seconds down to 4. So he is making inroads, and there is still time. We're not quite a half distance yet here in race 2.
Yeah, and obviously all medium tyres this time. So it's Mitchell is holding on to 5th and 6th, but Ryan Elliott is recovering pretty well now, up to 7th. He's got Callum Wilson ahead of him, so it's still going to be some decent teams points and hopefully reverse pole. So I'm sure they'll try and sort something out for Hurlock. Elliott's got a brilliant exit. We're now going to watch a replay of this. So Richardson goes wide, Selberg has the inside, Ben Willis has the inside of all of them, and I think it's just going to be 3 into 1. Oh, it's just a little bit of tap, and then chaos. And luckily, they didn't come flying back onto the track and take everyone else out. The other two managed to keep going straight. As we're watching Elliott here fighting the back of Wilson, the yellow in sector 3 at the moment.
There's these two exit Goddards for the 6th time of asking, coming on to the 7th lap for these two. Yeah, these two scrapping hard. Teams ramification, as we've now got, I think, a replay here from Martha, the big beneficiary, if you can so call one, from this bit of contact here. Let's see what she could see.
Yeah, so I think you're going to see, so all going straight, and it's tap, 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 and yeah, it's, lucky it all happened in front of Martha. She managed to just drive on. Only lost, gained 3, lost 1. Okay, net gain of 2, not too bad. As it was a bit of chaos, sadly. And then got it back on the exit. So yeah, 3 places gained. Not bad going.
So up to 10th from the back of the grid. Not too bad for Martha there. So long may the good run continue. Speaking of runs, here comes O'Leary. He's got up to Callum Cripps and through into the S's. Lovely stuff from the Richardson Co racing driver there. Now to go slightly further back to another Richardson Co driver. We've got
that looked a little bit too aggressive. That's going to come back onto the track sideways, and that car is also going sideways. So that's a lot of chaos now going on. I think race 3 has started early, ladies and gentlemen, going by some of the contact going on here. Yeah, that looked like the Cedo was looking at a sudden move on McGregor, not realising that Ben Willis was right behind them. So luckily that Ben's managed to hold it together and is still going, but yeah, sadly down in 21st position.
The 2 retirements, we've got Louis Neal and Jordan Richardson, unfortunately, out of this one. And yeah, there's definitely a few cars with a fair few war wounds. It's definitely been an active race 2 with a lot of, shenanigans afoot. Alan Smith in 16th. He likes, does he like the place? We don't think so. He wants more, and that's a good thing. So
always ends up
running 16th place. For Craven Racing. Not too far behind the Unlimited Cupra there. Oh, and now we've got another train forming. Martha now has the close attention of Mitch Marie and Zach Evans. Oh,
and that's going to be power. Thank God they're both front-wheel drives, because otherwise they would not have survived that.
It's getting physical.
Yes, I think that's safe to say. It's now a case of who's got the boost and who wants to use it, with 7 laps to go. And yeah, that's Mitch Marie up to 10th. I don't think Martha's going to take it lying down, as there's a few drivers behind also running on the medium tyres. So if these guys work together, I think the gap to it is about 6 seconds to Jack Nichols in the hard tyres. I was wondering if they would be up for working together to push on. There's a group of 3 drivers there on hards, but nope, they're going to have their own little battles. And Allington now down to 12th.
Great spot there with the hard tyres, and I think also a great point to make that great entertainment for us, but these drivers, if they were to work together, I'm sure would catch those hard runners with the time they've got left. But instead they're going to give us some great entertainment, swapping positions, a little bit of rubbing is racing, as they would say in America, and a good move there for Zach Evans, getting up the inside of Martha Allington. While all this is going on, a little scrap is starting to develop for the overall lead of the race. Thomas O'Leary, now having gotten past Callum Cripps, has got that gap down to just 1.5 seconds. So with 6 laps to go, I'm definitely going to forecast we're going to have a championship fight for the top step in this race.
Yeah, it's closer then. Obviously, 3rd and 4th in the background there are nose and tail. So again, those two are, if they think about it, could push themselves further forward. there as Richards is using the boost on this lap, so is there going to be enough time and enough of the straight to make use of it and get that third? Yes, there is. So that's Matt Richards now up to third.
Indeed. Hard to say from the off-board, but I definitely think there's a little bit of cooperation there, which I think is the right thing to do. Don't lose too much time. Work together, and you might be able to make and pick up something. Oh, well,
that's not cooperation.
That's not cooperation. That is retaliation from Callum Cripps. Lovely move on the brakes, giving Richards plenty of space on the exit. Has he got the run himself? No, he does not. So they stay as they were. Richards ahead of Cripps as they run into Goddard's.
Yes, like I said, a lot of door banging in this race. There's going to be a lot of repaired panels for the race 3, but hopefully they will make it through. Emil Salberg has stopped and retired, so that's our third retirement of the day.
Yes, the mechanics, the wrappers, the the body shell makers, they are definitely going to be doing some good trade after this race. We return now to 13th place. Simon Trebek in his first race here at VMO in the Unlimited Motorsports eSport Cupra, up to 13th place, chasing down Donington for 12th.
Yeah, seen a bit of everything, haven't they? I think this race is good and the bad and the ugly. Obviously, you got 14th place of who's that in 14th in the BMW, Fraser Hart behind them. So definitely not a guaranteed spot, but there's a bit of a gap to 15th for about 6-7 seconds. So yeah. There's still a few points on the table here for Simon to get. Martha there in 12th is definitely for the taking, as we're seeing 3rd and 4th still fighting the run down to the chicane.
Say 6 laps of boost used for Richards, just the one for Cripps. So Cripps has a bit more in the locker for the final few laps. Richards holds on to 3rd place. These two scrapping hard for that final podium position. And all this is doing is buying a nice bit of margin for O'Leary and Herlock to have a good scrap as well. I think that will embolden O'Leary when he catches the back of that RSR. He continues to make good progress to catch up to that Astra, which has been leading and having a pretty sensible, quiet race so far. But I think it's going to get a lot more lively.
It is indeed, because O'Leary's still got 3 laps of boost left, whereas Herlock's only got 1. So you imagine those 2 laps of boost that O'Leary can definitely make up 9/10, and then it's a case of right, who's wants to go for the dive, who wants to put it all on the line. Herlock again, chipping in a few more points, but obviously, it's a double pointer if O'Leary overtakes. So definitely not over, and one to watch as the gap is under 1 second.
Every point will indeed count. Every apex, every braking point, everything will matter. You got to keep doing what you're doing, focusing on your rhythm. Alan Smith in 16th place, under threat, and a little bit of rubbing there with the Cupra as they go into Redgate. Oh dear, there's only one car's width there, my friends. Don't try and drive into each other now. So we've now got 4 fighting for 15th place, the last points paying position, now being held by the Unlimited Cupra of Osborne.
Yeah, it's kind of going a single file through here, and then afterwards it's who's got the boost, and it's all going to break out with trying to go 3 wide through there. They'll need to be careful, because I think behind them is who have you got there? It's Carl Benson and Ben Willis, actually. So there's a bit of a gap to 19th and 20th.
But scrapping hard right down to the last points paying position. Well, let's talk about the first position. We now definitely have a fight for the lead. O'Leary now all over that rear wing and rear bumper of Dan Herlock. 3/10 the gap. It was 9/10 at the start of this one. Game on.
And didn't I say at the start of the race, it's going to be really difficult for O'Leary from 9th place to push forward for the win, but he's going for it. So O'Leary has enough boost for all the laps. So this one included, and Herlock's using it on this lap as well. So it's the last 2 laps, laps 13 and 14. O'Leary's going to have boost. Herlock isn't, and I think that's when he's going to do it. He just needs to use the boost this lap just to stay with Herlock, just wait it out, and then there'll be lots of opportunities on those 2 laps.
So just hearing in the background as well from cameraman extraordinaire, the scrap for the final podium position between Cripps and Richards. Cripps passing Richards once again. That gap has opened up to 5 seconds, so a big margin now between our leading duo and the duo fighting for the last podium spot. Richards with the fastest lap of the race. Everyone using their boost, leaving nothing on the table. That RSR car was made plenty wide by Ryan Elliott in the first race. We'll have to see how Dan Herlock can do on his own without his rear gunner.
Well, indeed, but I think the writing's on the wall, knowing that O'Leary's got those extra 2 laps of boost to use. If he's not, no point diving it down the inside here. Just wait your turn, basically. and I think it could be a foregone conclusion. But Herlock, if they had their way, will be pointing out, no, I'm not just going to fall over, bend over and let you take first place. But I think given the straights and given the boost, we've seen how much it works. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens as we go on to the penultimate lap.
Indeed. Difference in drivetrains, of course, here. We've got front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. Traditionally, the rear-wheel drives will take care of those tyres a bit better. We'll have to see what O'Leary can do and use with 1 lap to go. Richards in the pits from 4th place. Goodness me, what's happened there? Is this a drive-through? Is it a fuel issue? We'll have to see if we can find out. Looks like a drive-through, so perhaps a track limit issue. Oh, and we've got to change the lead.
Oh, O'Leary's done
Herlock.
I told you it was going to happen, and yep, just a boost down the hill and job done. And now we'll probably just pull away for these last 2 laps. Looks like they're going to struggle without any boost, but he has got a nice gap to Callum Cripps in 3rd place, who's 5 seconds down the road. So even that, I think, going to lose a little bit of points over O'Leary, but not still a bad position to be in for race 3. Not end of the world considering how many points they made up in race 1.
Indeed, it's a bigger picture. 2nd place is not too bad. A few points lost, but there's a bigger championship playing out here. But focusing on this race, Zach Evans for Vapor Shield Racing in his Honda Civic, getting a... Oh, no! Because the commentator was about to say getting a lovely move done into McLean's. Looks like 2 into 1. Did not go there for Zach.
That's a shame. I think it was on the outside as well, so not quite sure. The inside, and then, yeah, it's... Nichols is taking the move, and Herlock back up to 1st. Oh, this is a replay, sorry, of course. So yeah, down the hill, a little bit of boost, gets the outside for the right-hander, but gets the inside, importantly, for the left-hander. I think Herlock realised what was going to happen and thought, you know what, you can have that one. There's no point fighting it. And that gives O'Leary the lead, as we're seeing Luke Mitchell started on pole, down to 6th, and is sadly, I think either I can't tell if catching up on Wilson Elliott. I know, I think that's Elliott's made some more positions up, obviously. So Elliott up to 4th.
Yeah, a couple of cars here on the hard tyre. Definitely looks like it's the worst of the 2 options that our drivers have available, and it's tricky to make that hard compound work. Some circuits like Thruxton, where naturally there's hard tyre wear, it just comes back into its own towards the end of the run. Looks like today it's just not getting into that working window.
We get a replay here. So basically Zach has the outside, which comes the inside for the right-hander. But I don't know if it has a lock-up, but just basically doesn't turn right. And as Nichols starts to turn, just a little tap, and off they go. So one for the stewards to see about the overlap, about turn-in points. Was enough space on the outside being given by Evans? So yeah, one for the stewards to deal with as we are on that final lap, and Nichols is looking for 11th.
He's indeed caught up to the Cooper now. Cooper's having a great run tonight, which is lovely to see. Got Martha Allington also not too far behind as well. So all still to play for, and of course 12th place, the reverse grid position. It's all important to be racing for. Speaking of racing, Matt Richards recovering from pit lane, up to 7th place on the brakes into the S's, but just like that, we need to refocus on Thomas O'Leary. He's had a run of 2nd race victories, and he's done it again. O'Leary wins race 2 this evening, very closely pursued by Dan Herlock. Let's just have a look here. Last lap of the race. Still places to be made. I saw a big clump of cars just in the back of shot as O'Leary was taking the flag. Looks like Richards going to hold on to 7th place here. Like I say, recovering from the pit lane. We'll have to see if we can find out what caused him to do that.
Well, indeed. And just watching through as Cedo's got the last corner, looking down the inside for 15th for that last point. Door is open. Are they going to take it, and do they have the boost to hold it? I think they do, so Cedo should get that last points paying position.
Indeed, and I think we'll gain a spot actually, because I think I saw Allington pull into the pit lane. I wasn't sure what that was for, but 2 into the pits on during the course of the race there.
You did indeed. So sadly, something's happened there. I think sadly it also hasn't counted the drive-through, so they're being demoted even further that race. Yes, that's a shame, but still a fantastic. Not quite as well. Got a bit crazy in the middle bit there, didn't it? But then it kind of petered out again. So a couple of points gained by O'Leary over Herlock, extended again in the championship, but still all to play for, and still race 3.
Indeed, every story has a start, a middle, and an end, and I think we had a little bit of everything in that story. We're halfway through the story of the night, but yes, a busy race 2. Let's run through that final finishing order for you. So Thomas O'Leary responds to Dan Hurlock, wins race 2. Hurlock, though, 2 podium and second place finishes for the night, continues his quest for the championship. Callum Cripps for Brabham came home in 3rd from Ryan Elliott. Callum Wilson rounding out the top 5. Luke Mitchell, our pole sitter, making the most of what he had there with the hard tyres, finished 6th. Matt Richards, having visited the pit lane, finished 7th with Scott Mitchell-Marm, Mitch Marie and Fraser Howe rounding out the top 10.
In 11th place, it was Simon Trebek. A great evening continues for them. In 11th, with Jack Nichols in 12th. Martha Arrington there, classified in the end actually as 13th, with 2 13ths. That's because Martha's been demoted, I think, a bit further. So Martha Squaregate in 13th, Cedo Wyatt in 14th, Jordan Osborne in 15th. Alan Smith gets that 16th place again. Zach Evans 17th, Ben Willis in 18th, and then it's Carl Benton in 19th. And then it's Emil Selberg 21st, because Martha finished 20th. So these are the 3 DNFs of Emil Selberg, Jordan Richardson, and Louis Neal.
Yeah, seeing some chat. I think Louis unfortunately had some network problems, and Martha just confirming in the driver's lounge it was indeed a track limits penalty. So I think a few drivers being caught out. I think the S is probably your best bet for where you want to push, take a little bit of extra margin, and well, there's an automated system. It's keeping an eye on things, keeping it fair. A few of the drivers finding out the hard way.
Yeah, I like this automated system. I hate it sometimes at certain circuits, but because this is an official circuit, it's the same for everyone, right? So, there are 2 drivers that cut enough times to get a penalty. The other 20-odd drivers didn't, so they didn't get a penalty. It's harsh but fair. So, a shame for Martha there. Obviously, a good recovery after their other shenanigans going on, but sadly didn't quite work out. And it's going to be fun to see now who's on hards and who gets that reverse grid.
Yeah, just seeing a few mentions. I think I saw Callum Cripps there going, yep, now I've got the hard tyre. So, yeah, it definitely looks to be that hard tyre is not the usual darling. The option tyre is not the usual darling that it is in the VMO TCUK Championship. So it's the same for everybody, though. Everyone has to run it this evening at some point. I think we've had the majority of the grid use that tyre now. Just going to have a quick look here at the tyre form that we've got. And yes, we've got 6 drivers registered using that hard tyre for the 3rd and final race. Everyone else, though, has obviously got that pain out of the way. Just hearing as I'm speaking that our reverse grid has been drawn, and that was P7. So Matt Richards will be on pole position for our 3rd and final race of the evening. Not a bad return. I think if you were to be served a drive-through penalty for corner cutting, as we think he was, that's, oh no, drama, issues, that's ruined my evening. Well, might have actually just worked out for Matt there.
It's not a bad recovery there, which means Luke Mitchell starts 2nd. Callum Wilson 3rd, Ryan Elliott in 4th, Callum Cripps in 5th, and then Dan Hurlock in 6th. So the RSR starting 4th and 6th is going to be a fun one to watch, with O'Leary starting in 7th. Obviously, Ryan Elliott's going to do everything he can to hold up Callum Cripps and let Hurlock through, and then try and hopefully get as high, hold up O'Leary. It's basically going to be what the tactic is, I imagine, tonight, and cause a little, so hopefully push him back into the grass of that midfield clump, and see what happens.
So Phil's writing the script for the 3rd and final race already. We'll have to see but if it's going to work out. Just hearing Elliott may be on the hard tyre, so that may also be a factor, obviously, in what kind of defence he can put up for his teammate. So what do you think, Phil? Is the team tactics, do you call them fair? Do you call them not? Would you rather see it be mano a mano, as it were?
Elliott is a rear gunner. Yep, perfectly fine. We see it in every kind of motorsport. Obviously, the one I remember famously is Sergio Perez, Abu Dhabi. Department of, what was he called? Department of Defense, or what nickname he got? I can't remember. But
Minister of Defense, I believe.
That's it, Minister of Defense. But the whole using the push to pass to push your teammate, I'm not quite sure what the steward's going to make of that, but that's one for the stewards later on. It's useful to have a rear gunner, which O'Leary's lacking. He did very well in that race, and obviously race 2 expert to get the win there. This is going to be the fun one, starting 7th with 1 lap of boost, and everyone else backwards is going to have 8 laps of boost. So this isn't going to be an easy one, but then you got Hurlock Stein right next to them, so not going to be easy for them either. The only help is 1 grid row in front is your teammate, which may try and mix it up a little bit.
Well, speaking of mixing it up, of course, the reverse grid, it does reverse things around, put some drivers who usually may not get the chance to be right up the front, a chance to shine. I think what's interesting, just the way that the draw has fallen this time, we've got Matt Richards, who's shown some good pace tonight. We then have Luke Mitchell, who's already won a race tonight. So again, it shows how you can, stitch a good evening, a good score of points together by just staying consistent. And Luke Mitchell definitely doing that so far, and managing, I think, that hard tyre very well in the second race.
Yep. Yeah, very good use, and even fewer drivers using it in race 3. Like I said, Ryan Elliott will be using it, so hold up as many people as they can for as long as possible. But I don't think they'll have a swarm of cars descend upon them. So for the team's championship, it'd be a case of just finish as high as they can. I remember if you talked much about the team's championship. I was just about to ping that up because it's probably worth mentioning, although I can't actually find the driver standings. There we go, standings.
Yeah, great minds think alike. I was just about to say we do talk a lot about the driver's title. That is the big prize, but there is a team's championship. There's also a few other competitions going on amongst the drivers. Coming into this evening, we had Richardson Co-Racing actually leading by a pretty healthy margin, 449 points to RSR's 384. But it's pretty close behind. You've got Brabham Motorsport 307, Drake 304, all still to play for.
Yeah, and it's also worth pointing out Richardson Co-Racing obviously is O'Leary and Benton, whereas RSR have been getting both drivers in the points. So I imagine, again, that gap of 65 points. Nope, I can't math. No, I can math. 65 points. Thank you very much. Is going to be slowly coming down. We also have championships for on the charge. So basically how many places you make up, which actually is as after Knockhill was being led by O'Leary. By quite a margin, probably because he makes all those places up in race 2. And then we also have one for Purple Sector, which is we basically give the points based on qualifying, which after Knockhill actually had Callum Wilson and Jordan Richardson both on 89 points. So I have to see how that one works out. I can't remember who qualified higher between those two drivers here at Donington, but with only 2 races left, I'm sure cameraman is quickly digging out the broadcast to find out who qualified ahead. But if not, flip a coin, and it was the other one.
So we've also got the Challenger Cup, a competition for drivers who haven't run a race yet. We've got a number of drivers there. We've got Cedo Wire, Martha, Fraser, all drivers who've had some good runs this evening. All scoring, I'd say, some valuable points. Another little championship within the championship to compete for as well. So lots still to play for. But there's still, after this race, 6 more races to go. Lots of points still on the board for the taking for all of these different competitions. Yeah,
still lots of points being prizes. So for Herlock, it's obviously big chunk of points caught up in race 1. Lost a few in race 2. Race 3, catch up a couple, get those first ones back, and just half that deficit, ready for 2 more evenings and 6 more races. But half the gap in this one wouldn't be a bad thing to do. Set yourself up nicely, hopefully for the last 2 tracks.
So go on, Phil. Try and give us your prediction, just as we kind of prepare our drivers for the 3rd race. What do you think is going to happen? Who's going to win?
I'm going to call shenanigans. We had some good shenanigans in race 1, and I just think you've got Ryan Elliott starting 4th on hard tyres. His teammate, who's trying to hunt down Champions League, 2 places back. The person trying to hunt down his teammate 3 places back. I can just see some shenanigans going on of trying to let the teammate through, but not trying to let O'Leary through. And it's a little bit of chaos, as if we didn't have enough in race 2.
So a little bit of chaos on track, a little bit of chaos in the footage here, just as we wait for our drivers to grid. Yes, I think as race 3 usually does, it's going to throw up a big set of 6s. So we'll have to see who profits. And I just hope we have a good, clean, fair race between everyone. Touring cars, it is robust sometimes, but it does give us good racing. Here's hoping we get another good race.
Yeah, it's just worth pointing out finally that Jordan Richardson started the race 1 in 8th, and Callum Cripps qualified 9th. But sadly, I think it was Callum Wilson actually needed the results for for the purple sector. Yeah, it was Callum Wilson, sadly. But Richardson was 8th. I think actually Wilson started ahead of him. Wilson was 10th, I'm being told. So nope, it means that Richardson takes the lead of the purple sector award.
So 2 races to go. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Like I say, we do keep an eye on the overall drivers, but plenty to race for still. So we'll be moving on to our 3rd race in just a few moments. I don't think, like I say, we're expecting any weather. We did our weather dances in Snetterton. They didn't work.
We tried.
So, we tried, honestly, folks. We did. but yeah, no likelihood of weather today. Topsy-turvy grid, fast drivers at the front, fast drivers in the middle, fast drivers at the back. Anything can happen.
Definitely. The rain dance will be saved for Silverstone in 2 weeks' time. It's only an hour north of me, so not too far. And as we're starting to get these, we had a storm last weekend, so you never know. Maybe in 2 weeks' time we can have a complete downpour.
We'll have to deploy you tactically at the circuit.
Having some slight technical hiccups, sadly, again this evening. So, bit of a delay, but do stick with us. It's race 3. It's always chaos, whether it's touring cars or TCUK. So, I'm for one definitely looking forward to it. While we're waiting, we should probably talk something I wanted to talk about. We talked about iRacing, but iRacing Arcade. The demo is out on Monday, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, a bit of a different, we obviously enjoy our simulated racing. We want to pretend to be racing drivers, but when I explain to friends, colleagues at work, this hobby that I have, like, why isn't it just a game? Well, we like the simulation aspect to get as real as possible, but it's good to have racing games as well, things you can just chill out with, and it does look to have quite a cute niche going. So yes, looking forward to that one. Demo out. We'll have to see what it's like. Also, demos. Like, where have the demos gone?
Yeah, everything's like,
here's the cloud.
Here's a beta for a couple of days, and it's like, oh, okay, or it's open beta when you pre-order. It's like, no, I just want to try something. Whereas iRacing Arcade demo's out on Monday, and here's a Porsche 911, here's the Cooper Circuit. That's what you're getting, but go try it out. I've played a little bit of Circuit Superstars, who are the developers of the game, but I'm definitely going to enjoy the third-person camera more than the top-down one that Circuit Superstars had. Bringing on to other arcade games, are there many racing arcade games you still play these days, or you full on?
I used to play a lot of Burnout back in the day. That was my go-to.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago now, though. So as everyone does, right? You grow up, you have real-world responsibilities and things you have to do, bills to pay. So no, I stick with the simulators. Thank you very much for now. That's my enjoyment.
Fair enough. No, I'm still playing arcade games, be it Trackmania or Hot Wheels, as go back to some real sim racing, and we have a formation lap.
We do indeed. Let's see what our drivers and their Hot Wheels can do in this 3rd race. Let's run through that starting grid. Matt Richards, the reverse grid pole sitter, will be followed by Luke Mitchell. Callum Wilson will be starting 3rd from Ryan Elliott. Callum Cripps will be in 5th with Dan Herlock in 6th. Race 2 winner Thomas O'Leary will start in 7th place from Scott Mitchell-Marm. Mitch Marie in his Ford Focus will start in 9th, with Fraser Hart in his BMW starting 10th.
Simon Trebek, one to watch. I hope he has a good final race, starting 11th. Probably commentator's curse there, ready to go. Jack Nichols in 12th. I've just been told Simon's starting on hard, so never mind. Jack 12th, Ross McGregor 13th. Hopefully, good recovery from after the race 2 accident, and hopefully has a good final race here. CeeDo Wire in 14th, and Jordan Osborne 15th. Alan Smith starting from his favourite position of 16th. Zach Evans 17th. Ben Willis, who our admin says you have P18 to P1 to do, is starting 18th. Good luck, Ben. Martha Allington 19th. Carl Benton 20th. And then it's Emil Salberg, Jordan Richardson, and Louis Neal starting 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, having retired from race 2.
So I think you're a little bit of a jinx there. I think Ross McGregor, trying to recover, unfortunately has the hard tyre to run as well. So I think that's 2 called for.
Damn it. And obviously, Elliot and Cripps, like I said, Elliot being rear gunner, I think he's just going to, if you're Elliot, you basically try and let Cripps and Herlock through, and then just hope you can hold up O'Leary for as long as possible, that Mitch Marie and Scott Mitchell-Marm can have a little fight with, because I imagine Fraser Hart and Trebek on the hards are going to also sadly fall a little bit backwards, which is, good opportunity for Jack Nichols to get a top 10.
Mm-hmm. So the hard tyre definitely doesn't look to be the advantageous tyre, but you've got to stay on the island, stay on the road, and that's how you make positions and make places. So we'll have to see how our drivers do. We've got our front row just coming up to the grid. We've got some picture-in-picture here. I believe that's with the BMW of O'Leary. If I'm not mistaken. There we go. As our drivers round Goddard's to complete their reconnaissance formation lap. Lots of aggressive grid box positions being taken. Statement of intent clearly from our drivers as they start race 3. Everyone's in position. We wait for those engine revs to rise. Lights go on. And we are away for race 3 this evening. Looks like a good start from Richards. Cars off on the grass trying to pass. I think that's O'Leary and Herlock already duking it out down into turn 1. Looks like we've got Wilson making progress on Mitchell. Golden start there for Matt Richards though.
Golden start for O'Leary. It's like I said, side by side still with Herlock, but it's Callum Cripps also ahead. That's going to front wheel drive, maybe push a little bit wide here. Herlock's just hoping to keep it going, keep that outside line now. We've got our championship contenders fighting each other. I think Herlock has got ahead. And Elliott obviously sadly went backwards, but now now it's Elliott side by side with O'Leary.
So leaning on each other, momentum changing hands. O'Leary losing out there on the exit of the old hairpin, and we have Elliott using that momentum around the outside of McLean's to try and regain that place, but up the inside, O'Leary goes on the brakes into Coppice, a blind corner. You can't see the apex when you turn into that one, and he's got that place back to 7th place. Not ideal, but could be worse.
Yeah, obviously Herlock has put a car between them, Mitchell Marm, 5th and 7th. So Elliott will do everything they can just to kind of stick with O'Leary to try and use the boost as we see Herlock going down the inside of Cripps. Needs to be careful with the car in front. I think there's a little bit of contact there with Cripps and has got the place and up to 4th.
So Luke Mitchell recovering back to 2nd place, getting past Callum Wilson there on the approach into the Melbourne hairpin. Looks like we've got now Herlock under attack from Cripps, a little bit of retaliation, trying to take that 4th place back side by side as they cross the start finish line to complete lap 1, move on to lap 2. We've got Scott Mitchell Marm in for close company. My goodness me, they're scrapping hard back there as well, I think for 11th, 12th and 13th place. King's car off onto the grass there as they approach Red Gate.
They are just about all still going as, it looks like Herlock's going to try and push her Wilson now, as we're seeing Nichols here fighting for top 10. I think everyone behind also fighting for a top 10 by the looks of it. There's a whole train of them going on 2 by 2, even 3 by 3. I don't think that was going to work, but it looks like they have made it all through.
So they're still rocking and rolling up the hill. Oh no, a bit of contact. I think that is
Alan
one of
Smith.
the Smith there. A little bit of contact on the braking zone. These cars are hard to describe for you, ladies and gents at home, but they are so finely poised. You touch one of them when they're loaded up, when they're braking, they will just snap on you, and I think that's what just happened there.
Ironically, very similar to Senna Proctor's crash in real life at Donington race 2. Just kind of like a little bit on the grass, on the brakes, sideways, and round they went. And already people are using their boosts, which I find interesting on this race 3, lap 2. Still many more laps to go, but it's Herlock putting the pressure on Wilson.
It is indeed, yes. Normally a little bit conserved, a bit more tactical, drawn out over the duration of the race. But no, what drivers getting well and truly into their allocation early doors. So is that just to try and make a bit of a gap, try and focus on their race, or are they feeling the heat from the drivers around them? We will wait and see. Cedar Wire has had an eventful evening, fiery in many shapes and forms. He's up to 15th place now, trying to scrap with Fraser Hart there. On the brakes into Redgate this time around, up to 14th he goes. Can he hold on to that position on the exit? Looks like the answer is yes.
Yeah, I'm actually keeping a close eye on O'Leary and Callum Cripps in 7th and 6th as putting a battle together. As that's going to be a little bit of contact there with the Ford Focus and Honda. That's going to cause contact with the BMW. And it's worked out nicely for the Ford that started all that, because I think they're going to get both of them.
So robust touring car action there from the Dre car. Didn't quite catch which driver that was, but yeah, side-by-side action now between Herlock and Mitchell, I think that is.
Wilson.
Wilson, sorry, beg your pardon.
Yeah, Herlock going for 3rd place, but I think Wilson's using the boost to fight back.
So playing front gunner for O'Leary, so says cameraman extraordinaire. Spot on. A bit more team play. Well, team play works in many different ways. It's all fair and balanced, working itself out over the course of the evening. Herlock really hustling that Astra. A little bit of contact on the turn-in. There was a BMW in its way, so no way to drive through a car. A couple places lost.
Yeah, that Scotch Marm just like letting it all play out, knowing full well that, you know, that car goes wide, I'll take it. So yeah, currently those it's rear gunners and front gunners all going on. As like I said, Wilson stopping Herlock from making positions, and now it's O'Leary that's behind them. So yeah, that's going to get spicy again as it's all getting close.
It is indeed, and should call out, great race so far for Scott Mitchell-Marm. Hopefully won't curse the commentator of him, but up 4 places so far in 4 laps. That's a good start for the King's driver.
It is indeed, as Elliott's looking to try and get round Callum Cripps, but there's nowhere to go at the moment. I did notice that he's already used a couple of laps of his 4 laps of boost. Desperate to try and help his teammate, as that's an interesting line. A little bit of lawn cutting, but it lives to fight another day. As Pearl pointing out, Richard's out of all of this, is just running up the road.
Indeed, Elliott and Cripps on the hard tyres, nice and even there, and potentially a bit of a cork in the bottle as we've got a few medium runners catching up nice and quickly. As Phil quite rightly said, Matt Richards having a lovely evening drive, uncontested, 2.5 second gap, and Mitchell-Marm brave, late on the brakes, pulling the handbrake on that Ford Focus to try and hold on to that 3rd place. It's not got the ideal exit. Can Wilson retake the place? He's certainly giving it a go there, even into the Melbourne hairpin. Very hard to run around the outside there, and through goes Herlock, picking up the pieces.
Literally the opposite of what happened in the previous lap, where it was Mitchell-Marm picking up the pieces. That's a mouthful, isn't it? So that's Herlock back up to 4th, and again O'Leary's teammate Wilson in 3rd, now acting as front gunner for O'Leary.
So boost reset there for Scott Mitchell-Marm running out, and wow, what a move! Late on the brakes for the RSR. That would be amazing if he can hold on to that one, and he does.
Basically stopped on the apex. It stopped on the apex. That gives Mitchell-Marm now a chance to go 2x2 with the BMW, who I think has backed out. And I imagine now, if they're going to work as a team, it's going to be a case of Wilson getting out of the way for O'Leary.
We'll have to see if they swap them round at Richards & Co. But yes, that pass there from Herlock, I don't think you could leave it much later. That was quite something.
But it was controlled. That's the important bit. It was controlled. It was aggressive, but controlled. We've got a yellow flag somewhere in sector 2. Don't see anyone falling down the order just yet. Oh, Jordan Osborne sadly pointing the wrong way with one less tyre on his car by the looks of it. Not
optimal, that's for sure. You want all 4 wheels on your wagon. If you're missing one, that's certainly not going to be helpful. So that's a pity there for Osborne. Those hard tyres really didn't get on with him, clearly.
I actually think I may have got it wrong. It may not be his tyre. I think it may have been Fraser Hart's, which he hit the back of. I'm not quite sure.
Oh.
So we'll get a replay shortly. So Jordan Osborne sadly isn't going to be the best angle, because Jordan Osborne's going to go down the hill perfectly fine. You know, down. Oh, I see. So Fraser Hart had an issue earlier, slid back onto the circuit, and one less rear wing. And he was actually fighting Carl Benton before that, Fraser Hart, so just lost it, squirreling down the hill, tried controlling it. He's on the brakes, he's trying his best, but yeah, sadly, that just stops it right on the exit of the right-hander. So a shame for both of them, and that's our first 2 DNFs of the evening for race 3.
Yep, that's unfortunate. It almost looks like, as you say, moment earlier on, running across the grass, can't get the car stopped, and you just unfortunately land in front of someone effectively. It's almost what happened with Ryan Elliott in the first race. So just we can see how easy things can go wrong. Just wrong place, wrong time.
We've got a replay here of Cedo Wiles. What goes on here? So we've got Martha Allington fighting one of the Kings in the background. It's like 3 wide. That was being interesting. Is that going to work? Oh, the smacks into the Honda there. And I think there was a little bit of contact on exit between Zach Evans and Martha Allington, sadly. So, yeah, bit of a shame there. But everyone out of that incident is still going. And 2.5 seconds for Matt Richards at front. Yeah, just doing his thing. Same with Luke Mitchell. It's got a nice 3-second gap to Herlock, who is trying to get out of the grasp of Mitchell-Marm in 4th. And interesting, Wilson O'Leary still running 5th and 6th.
Yes, indeed. It's kind of honours even. Perhaps things just settling just in the middle here of the 14-lap race that we have here for the final time this evening. One interesting thing I was just kind of keeping a bit of an eye on is the boost usage between Richards and Mitchell. Mitchell not used any boost yet so far, but Richards already used 2 laps worth up. So a little bit of a disadvantage there. I think Richards just trying to build a gap early going, get the distance done, and defend perhaps towards the end of the race. But Herlock and Mitchell Marm definitely, I'd say, putting a lot of focus on the back of that Vauxhall Astra, not allowing Herlock to have an easy run into the end of the evening. So good stuff from the King's Focus. Interesting to see that we've not yet had the switch between O'Leary and Wilson, so maybe they'll save that for a bit later in the race, if at all.
They will, and I have to congratulate you on just sliding into putting a lot of focus on the Astra in the Ford Focus. I don't even think you realised what you said there, and I congratulate you for slyly throwing that one in. And also, I just announced it to everyone, so never mind. I'm still surprised they haven't swapped it. I mean, they're obviously not going to do the tactic of what RSRG did, which is use one driver's boost for another, as Alan Smith looks to continue his recovery up to 18th, and I think that Honda will also have a piece of the action in Cedo Wire, and also made a place up. So sadly, that's 2 places lost for Martha there.
Yeah, momentum, wrong place, wrong time. It's tough here at Donington Park. You don't want to find yourself in the wrong place, and just like that, the Brabham there, Cedo, getting another place. I think perhaps a little bit of boost usage there.
Yeah, good little use. Use a little bit of it, not use too much. As just having look, Richardson, up to 12, made brilliant moves to get up to 12. I think he's just passed his teammate. I think his teammates just let him through to try and hunt down Ross McGregor and the like. But Jack Nicholls here, 9th place, right up the tail of Cripps on those hards, and we're hoping to dive down inside. No, thinks better of it. Elliott sadly going backwards to those hards, already down to 10th.
The hard tyre, I think, is perhaps the story of the night, just how much of an impact it's had on the strategy and how the races have played out. And I think it's important when you're racing someone, you need to observe perhaps how their car is behaving, responding, where it's weak, where it's strong. I think if you've got the medium tyres, you're just going to wait for that traction opportunity and just going to shoot by that hard runner. O'Leary off!
What's happened there? Well, he's gone way off. He's down to 12th, and we'll get a replay shortly of what's going to happen. But that's not part of the plan. Falling down the order, the 13th is number 14. We'll have a little look. Nope. And we'll have to get we'll get a replay shortly of what went on there. But wow, okay. Well, that changes the whole championship, doesn't it? With Herlock just about holding on to 3rd as we get a replay now. So what happens here? So we know O'Leary's behind. So he's just going to drop it here on exit. It's gone very wide. Oh.
So you can gain a lot of time by running that outside curb, but when it switches back to the grass, if you've still got some load on that left-hand side of the car, beg your pardon, it will send you off to the inside as it did there for O'Leary. So key critical mistake in this race. Could that have a championship bearing? We will find out, but it's going to be music to the ears of Dan Herlock, still running in 3rd place. O'Leary now down to 14th.
Yes, also worth pointing out that Scott Mitchell-Marm is right on the back now of Herlock. I think using that extra lap of boost. And also Luke Mitchell is catching up to Matt Richards. So we've got those 2 battles are hotting up nicely for a race 3 chaos, as Ross McGregor down into 11th place.
So Mitchell-Marm following closely down through the old hairpin. So it'd be interesting to see how Herlock plays this one. Is he going to think bigger picture, or is he going to fight for everything? We are going to find out. And we've got Callum Wilson not all that far behind either. So if these two do scrap, it could be a 3-way fight for the final podium position. I think I've said that before this evening. So as these 3 start to concertina up, I think I saw a little bit of concertinaing up around Cripps as well. Again, that hard tyre playing out. Nicholls now ahead.
Yeah, you've got Callum Cripps who's just lost a place to Jack Nicholls, and Ryan Elliott is trying to get involved as well, but obviously is also using the hard tyre. So it's Richardson, definitely wants to think, well, I'll have both of you in a minute. So that's not worked out in terms of RSR for the championship, having Elliott down so far down, but now I suppose he's ahead of O'Leary. He's down to 14th now, and watching Ben Willis and Louis Neal fight it out for 12th and 13th. So grab all the points you can quickly, as he's going 3 wide.
Championships are built on consistency. We're human, we make mistakes, as we've got, as you say, 3 ride down towards the final hairpin, and it looks like the drag car is going to come out on top there. Oh, Willis trying to close the door, and unfortunately Louis Neal was in there as well. So 2 into 1 do not go, and both lose out. O'Leary recovers a couple spots for free there.
He did, yeah. I'm just having a quick look at that, and yeah, that's just, just 2 different lines. I think that's going to be a penalty for Louis Neal because he definitely didn't give that place back. So that's a shame, but never mind. 1 for the stewards, as we're watching here. A case of Callum Cripps and Richardson now fighting for 8th, 9th, and then Elliott there in 10th. And they're going to go side by side. Is there a little bit of boost being played here? That's position made.
Not by looks of it. I think that's just pure tyre advantage. Richardson getting past both Elliott and Cripps in the last few laps, and now the top 8 are all on the medium tyre. So our hard runners really struggling in this, the 3rd race of the evening. Next car to catch this trio of hard runners, being Cripps, Elliott and McGregor, is O'Leary, recovering from that moment earlier on.
Yeah, it's set up nice, isn't it? We've still got another 4 laps of this we've got to talk about. It's fantastic. You have another 40. Richardson up 14 positions is just a crazy amount. Is that Elliott looking for the inside? He's looking for it. I think he's got it unless Cripps can get the cut back.
So I think he's got that one signed, sealed and delivered. He's covering the inside for Goddard's, the next hairpin. So it looks like that one is done. Little bit of a nudge, little bit of a love tap on the back of the Astra there from the Brabham Civic, but position secured for now. Going defensive, holding that right-hand side, not offering any room, any opportunity to Cripps. He goes to the outside, little bump there, coming across 2 cars into 1. Do not go. Elliott holds on through Redgate, and here comes McGregor. 3 hard tyre runners. We know the hard tyre struggling in terms of pure lap time, and now we've got them all together. This is going to be music to the ears of O'Leary, just a few seconds behind now on that medium, and we've seen how quickly the medium runners have been making progress on these hard shod cars.
Yeah, I think he's going to make a bit more here because they're going to be contact, and off goes Callum Cripps. And saw that one coming from Marloff, didn't I? And I think that could be thank you and good night for Cripps there. That's 1 position made. That's a shame. That was just a loaded car, kind of not giving enough space to the other, and at the speed that they go into that corner, it just causes chaos. And he is still going, but he is now down 20th position.
Running in 2nd position and catching and now caught the back of Matt Richards is Luke Mitchell, our race 1 winner. We know he's got pace in that Ford Focus. Let's see what he can do. Honours even on the tyres, no dynamic there to call. 0.6 of a second the gap as they exit Goddard's for the 10th time, coming on to the 11th. Or sorry, the 11th time coming on to the 12th, beg your pardon. So that gap just about a second, with a pretty even amount of boost to go between them as well. So this is all going to be about driver on driver. O'Leary, 11th place now, has caught the back of McGregor on the hard tyre. So we've lost one of our 3.
We have. Who have we lost there?
Oh, Cripps, of course. He had his moment.
Yes. Whoops. Totally thought that already. I think Mitchell and Richards both on boost. O'Leary's obviously trying to recover as much as he can. Obviously, next car, if he does manage to overtake McGregor, it's Ryan Elliott. It's rear gunner action kind of coming up again as he's going pushing that BMW to the absolute limit. He is.
He is indeed trying every trick in the toolbox to try and get past this flying Scotsman in the Honda Civic, the Ford Focus. Goodness me, I have a good quip and then a bad one. But Ross, quality operator, as we know, stalwart of the series, and it's going to be a hard task potentially for O'Leary to do. But look at that undercut he's got on the medium tyre, almost just driving by him. But God blimey, that Ford Focus has got some legs. Look at this gap, that BMW, as they run towards the S's.
Yeah, while that's happened, Herlock is down to 4th. Scott Mitchell was using the boost on that straight to get himself up to 3rd. They have the same amount of boost available for the rest of the race, but whether Herlock's going to really attack to get that last podium place back, I'm not too sure, considering his rival is down in 11th.
O'Leary drifting the back of his BMW on the exit of the Melbourne hairpin, just clipping a little bit of dirt on the way through. Got McGregor using some of his boost to defend the position. Honours even as they cross the start-finish line. It definitely is helping, I think, here in all of this. Ryan Elliott, he's got a little bit of a gap now between himself and McGregor, but just look at the momentum that BMW can carry on corner exit.
Yeah, there's McGregor with using a little bit of boost to defend.
Oh!
Whoa!
Herlock on exit of the old hairpin in the picture-in-picture. Big moment, big mistake. Nearly lost the car, held onto it just.
How has he held onto that? He's just gone wide, and it's just massively tank slapped him, and somehow he lost the second, I think, if that to Scott, but he's somehow held on to fourth. And that's the difference between, championships. We saw O'Leary go round there, and somehow Herlock's held on to it. He's obviously now got Callum Wilson catching up to the back of him. I think they've got the same amount of boost now, so hold it together. And there's a good points haul here, but that was very close to disaster.
I don't think you could write the script. Both of our contenders for the championship, both having mistakes at the same corner, in the same race, within laps of each other. Goodness me, the pressure is starting to build on them perhaps, and now they've got even more to manage and recover.
Look at this. So it goes into here, and it just goes a little bump, and it's just completely kind of caught him by surprise. But yeah, he obviously lost a little bit of speed there and lost a little bit of time to Mitchell Mahon. But yeah, how he's held on to very lucky guy. Very lucky guy.
So hanging on for all he's worth, so is O'Leary. Gotten past Ross McGregor there, up to 10th place, so the recovery continues. The next driver to pass, well, it's Ryan Elliott and an RSR. Ding ding, round 7 are we on now?
Yeah, it's a bit of a gap, 6/10, but I think they've both got boost, but as you said, Elliott on those hard tyres. Don't do it again, please, O'Leary. Just leave it on the tarmac and bring it home in fourth, I think, is probably the best thing you can do right now, please.
So, final lap of the race. We don't want to be queuing off tracks or having to serve a drive-through at this point. But let's focus on our leading duo. It's the final lap of the race. It's kind of flown by here. And we've got Matt Richards still leading, Luke Mitchell close behind, both on the boost, running into the S's for the final time. Luke hustling the back of that Ford Focus, making it dance through the entry of the S's there. But Richards, I think he's got a car length, maybe two, as they go on to the brakes into the Melbourne hairpin, round smoothly onto the power, cleanly away. One corner to go for both of these drivers. I think it's going to require a mistake for Mitchell to make something here. On the brakes they go. Richards turning his Civic through onto the power, and assuming all is well, that will be job done. Good race between these two. Respect being shown. Matt Richards wins race 3 this evening from Luke Mitchell as we wait for everyone else to take the flag.
Yep, so that's going to be Herlock is definitely going to get fourth, and Elliott very lucky that he kept that last lap of boost because he needed to use it to hold off O'Leary at the end here, and will take that 9th place of O'Leary in 10th. Any other movers and shakers to go on the final lap? Oh, Cedo in 13th. I think we're pretty much done there, aren't we? Ben Willis getting that final last points paying position.
Indeed, I think the last car running is Carl Benton with a few retirements, which we'll cover in a moment. Just bring it home slowly for Richards and co. Into the final corner he comes. A little bit of damage, I think, on the back of that BMW. So a few adventures had for Kyle in this, the third race of the evening. So as he crosses the start-finish line, that will conclude race 3 this evening. Goodness me. A little bit of everything, and I did not have mistakes starting to creep in for our championship duo.
I think, based on those finishing positions, the gap is going to be between two of them less than single digit, less than double digits. That was a not quite perfect eating for Herlock. I think his heart would have liked it if he didn't go massively wide there and not lose it. But yeah, a good holding 4th position.
Let's run through the finishing order for the third and final race of this evening. Matt Richards wins from Luke Mitchell. Scott Mitchell-Marm rounding out our podium. Dan Herlock with a few adventures finished in 4th from Callum Wilson, Mitch Marie, Jack Nichols, Jordan Richardson, Ryan Elliott and Thomas O'Leary close out our top 10.
In 11th place, it's Ross McGregor. Nice evening for him. First one back in a while. Emil Salberg in 12th. Cedo Wire in 13th with a couple of points there for Martha Allington in 14th. Ben Willis getting the last point in 15th. Unlucky for Simon Trebek there. Those hard tyres went from 11th to 16th. Zach Evans in 17th place with Alan Smith. He's added like an extra hole there from his 16th to finish 18th. Callum Cripps in 19th. And yeah, our last finisher was Carl Benton in 20th with just 3 retirements of Louis Neal, Jordan Osborne, and Fraser Hart.
It's been a wild ride tonight. Our tongues have well and truly been twisted, Phil. 2 rounds to go. Anything could happen. And as you say, the championship picture just got a whole lot closer.
I think it's advantage Herlock here. I think he's got a decent rear gunner in Elliott. And he's got, as we were talking about momentum in the race, momentum in the championship, right? He's catching him, and I think Silverstone could be the opportunity to go for it and take the lead if he hasn't done already.
So yes, let's just quickly recap what we now have remaining. Just 2 rounds to go. In 2 weeks' time, 22nd of October, we'll be visiting Silverstone and its national layout, which is always good for a few thrills and spills. And after that, just Brands Hatch GP to round out the season. 6 races to go. 2 protagonists perhaps, but everything absolutely still to play for. Silverstone is an interesting circuit. It's fast, couple of overtaking zones. Traditionally favours, I'd say, the front wheel drive cars. But as you say, Phil, we're getting towards the end of the year. Winter is almost here. The weather could play a role. Who knows what may happen next at the home of British motorsport.
And a lot of straights for that boost. So those front markers are really going to struggle on those straights, that long amount of that long straights with that boost. So that will be fun to watch in 2 weeks' time.
It will indeed. So with that, I think we'll have to draw our broadcast for this evening to an end. Thank you so much for joining and watching along. Like I say, if you're interested in finding out more about VMO, give us a search, look for us on your social media platforms, join the Discord server, and you'll find a lovely community of like-minded individuals who love a good bit of racing in their spare time. So with that, thank you so much for joining us for the 3 races tonight. On behalf of myself, Phil, and Tom, our cameraman extraordinaire, thank you so much. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Silverstone.